3, 2, 1. Cameron Haynes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's up?
Nice shirt, buddy. That's a ridiculous shirt. That's you and me in Utah, and it says "must be nice."
Yeah. Yeah, the story. Everybody says they look at somebody and they'll be like, "Man, must be nice to whatever
to be able to have that, or to get this, or be able to go there."
Yeah. So it's like, we obviously have a great elk hunt. I see a couple of comments, and it's like people saying, "Must be nice," which it is. It's amazing, but yeah. So just kind of.
I think you read too many comments. That's what I'm saying.
I think you read some comments too.
Why do you think I read them? You've always said that.
I think you do.
You never catch me reading them though, do you?
You've mentioned comments before to me.
I catch them if they're in the top. And
you sent me a comment the other day, and it said, "I always wonder."
Oh, that was because my wife sent it to me. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
That was after the video of you and I where we're celebrating, and you go, "I love this man." I'm like, "I love this man."
Yeah.
And someone said, "I always wondered what it would look like if Cameron Haynes and Joe Rogan had a baby, and we almost found out."
So, that was a good one. Every once in a while, you get a gem.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. The internet is filled with funny fucking people, man.
Oh my God,
there's a lot of
hilarious.
Frustrated comedians out there.
There is
that get to express themselves occasionally in comments.
Yeah. Because I sometimes answer because I feel like I'm let off the hook a little bit, because it's not like I'm making a post calling somebody a dipshit, but I can say in a comment, and it kind of sneaks through.
But why do you want to?
Or just be funny.
You're so busy. That's what I don't understand. How do you have the time? With a full-time job, I mean, it's normal that you run a marathon in a day. Mm-hmm. So how the fuck do you have the time to be commenting?
I don't know. Well, we're like waiting out here right now on the plane. I don't know.
Times of boredom.
I guess so. Yeah, it's all good. It's fun.
Hey, man, I know a lot of people that read their comments, and smart people. Eric Weinstein was making an argument that you probably should read some of them. That there's he's a genius. He was saying, you don't want to be cut off completely from feedback. Mm-hmm. So you have to find that sweet spot between reading some and I'm like, I feel like other people read them. I'll get them. They'll come to me.
Yeah. No, the good ones people share with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know some people who go crazy. They read their comments and then they become obsessed. Yeah. And then they read them all day long. And then they go and they have these little Twitter wars with people back and forth. Yeah. And they just argue all the time.
Yeah. There's sometimes where, I posted a couple times yesterday, and I don't think I read any till maybe this morning, or just, so it's like, I don't post and then just totally check them every second, refresh. But
every now and then there's something nice. Like I saw this dude that we were talking about in the last podcast. I reached out to him. He lost, how much weight did that guy lose, Jamie?
It was 200. He went from 417 to 190.
So I sent him a DM. I'm like, I'm sending this guy a DM. Yeah, that's fucking amazing, man.
It is.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
So you do see people because when you reach, you're going to reach millions of people. There's going to be a few dipshits, but there's also going to be a few like that where it's just like, oh my God, this is, how impactful is that? That's it affects your life.
Yeah.
Because it's so positive.
Well, one of the things that you do online that I think is super important is you provide inspiration. We were talking yesterday when I had Dakota Meyer on, we were talking about Goggins and Jocko, and you do the same thing. It's like, you provide something where people they can see you working hard and they see you smiling and getting after it, and it makes people want to do things. And when they know that you're doing these 100-mile races and all this crazy shit that you do, it gives them just enough of a push to get off the couch and get going. And sometimes that's all someone needs to change their whole life. You need a day. Yeah. A good day where you get moving and you get your legs pumping and you get huffing and puffing and you get your heart rate up and you sweat, and then afterwards you feel great and you go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it again. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you got 15 days in a row. And the next thing you know, you're down 10 pounds.
That's right.
And the next thing you know, you're cutting off on the booze and you're eating good. Mm-hmm. And now you're joining a gym and you're starting to do chin-ups and shit and you're getting in shape and you look way better and you feel better.
That's it.
You make better choices. Yeah. Your life moves smoother.
It builds that momentum, and it, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and that one step is one day, or maybe the first step on your first run. But I see that all the time too, because I genuinely enjoy working hard. And so I am smiling. And it's like people say, okay, enough's enough. I've been watching you for whatever. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know if you beat them into submission finally, but whatever the case is, for whatever reason people get out there, they do. And then it starts that journey, like you said, towards a different life, essentially.
I joke around about it on stage about accidentally influencing dudes, and I apologize to the girlfriends. But there is a certain amount of responsibility that you have to assume when that starts happening, when you do have a positive impact on people. And you realize, like, hey, this show, having people like you and Jocko and Andy Stumpf and all kinds of interesting, fascinating people on, directly influences people's lives for the better and changes the way they view things for the better, gives them a positive outlook. And it also gives them the opportunity to hear from people the way people think, that maybe they would never get to meet these people in real life.
Right.
They would never get to know these people.
But they feel like they know you or them or who, that's the one thing I love about Jocko too is, just the shot of his watch every day. I mean, he's up at 4:30 and he's getting it done.
Yeah.
No excuses.
None.
Yeah. And he's and that's, I think that accountability is probably accountability for him, but also it's like the people know, okay, hey, this is what we need to expect of ourselves.
Yeah. A guy said, I don't like following Jocko because all it does is take pictures of his watch. I'm like, you're missing the point, man.
Yeah.
That's a new picture.
Yeah.
It's a new picture every
New
goddamn day of a new day with his fucking watch, getting up and getting after it. And then afterwards, there's a puddle of sweat in the ground.
Yeah.
And he's doing it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's
that's
impressive.
good for you.
It's like, and that was, I'd never met him until our elk hunt in Utah. And man, people ask, hey, so how is Jocko? And I'm like, exactly like what you'd expect. I mean, what he says and how he portrays himself, that's how he is.
That's how he is.
And he's like, they had that day, they were expecting a long day of blood trailing or just covering miles in the mountains. And he's like, he couldn't wait.
Yeah, he was looking forward to it.
He couldn't wait.
He ate 3 plates of meatloaf.
He did. He carb loaded. I mean, he's like, hey, I'm going to need these. But yeah, big old plates of food. But he said, and I remember this specifically, he said, what sucks is when it doesn't suck. He wants the challenge.
Yeah.
If something without a challenge, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, he's turned his mind into this like challenge-seeking missile.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I love the fact that he, at 45 years of age or 46, whatever he is, decided to get into bow hunting hardcore, and a year in, he's taking on this crazy elk hunt.
I know.
In Utah. I mean, it's awesome.
That was amazing.
It's awesome. I love when people are not scared to take on new challenges. Like something that's completely outside their wheelhouse. Like when he started shooting, and he got together with Dudley, and Dudley started giving him some instruction. I got pumped because I knew, I'm like, this guy's going to dive into this head first.
Right. Yeah, it's that discipline. I think guys like you and him, it's just easy transition because you've had and I always say this, bow hunting's done this for me. It gave me discipline or structure when I didn't have any. And I think, jiu-jitsu did that for you too no, it wasn't jiu-jitsu then.
Taekwondo started out,
Taekwondo.
Kickboxing, a lot of different martial arts.
But yeah, so it's the same, it's different, but it's the same type of discipline for young. I mean, I guess it was young for us, but it's a transition to people who have that mindset, and they know that I'm going to have to punch this time clock every day for a while before I get to a high level. Yeah. And it's just like that a certain type of personality or people don't shy away from that. They they gravitate towards it.
Well, it's also being able to pull it together in the moment, which to me, I've always sought challenges where it requires you to maintain your mental state, like whether it's stand-up comedy or fighting. And to me, archery might be the ultimate.
Oh, man.
Bow hunting is the ultimate because in these moments where that bull is going to be in between those 2 trees for 5 seconds,
I know,
and you got to draw back and make that shot. These are crazy moments that you have to have practiced. You have to put in the time. There's no substitution.
I don't think people who haven't done it realize how difficult it is. And then I think people who've done it, they definitely know how hard it is.
Yeah.
is one of the, as you mentioned, one of the hardest things to do. But that's why that video of you in Utah, 67 yards, and it was just like we had been in on bulls, like had opportunity.
From the moment, at the beginning of the morning.
Yeah, it was a rough
real
fast.
close.
It was a rough
crazy
fast.
day.
But these opportunities were like right there. Oh, you could almost grab them, and they were gone, and it didn't happen. And then that one, just enough time, but he's like, you had to do it all. You know, like the clock's ticking. Like it's not. You don't have unlimited time. That bull takes a step.
Yep.
It's over.
Yep.
And for you to make that shot so perfect in crunch time, that was such a beautiful thing. It's like, that's why it elicited the orgy type response.
Well, that's also why I said afterwards, practice is so important. It's all I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said practice, something about practice. And it's like, that's what it goes down. So that's the building block.
Yeah.
And it's just those reps, because you can't, I guess you could make a lucky shot, but the chances of screwing that up are very high unless you got the reps.
Yeah, my thought process when I was making that shot was exactly the thought process that I go through when I'm practicing. And that's why, and when I executed and I saw that arrow hit exactly where I was aiming.
Beautiful.
That's the first thought that came into my mind. Practice is so important.
Well, and then I was impressed because you actually made notes to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
On your phone.
Yeah.
So walk me through your procedure, your process.
I have, I even added to it today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because there's a certain way I like to grip the release that I didn't put in.
Yeah.
So back straight, strong posture, draw back, elbow high, light pressure on the nose, center the peep, level the bubble. Now this is the new one that I added. Connect the fuck you finger to the thumb, because this finger has to connect to the thumb on the release as I pull back.
Yeah.
And because I use that silverback release.
Yeah.
I pull back with the index trigger, pick a spot, pull with the scapula, and then the last one, be the arrow.
Right.
You know who taught me that? Remy Warren.
So what does that mean?
Remy Warren said, well, Remy, the whole thing?
No. The be the arrow.
Like, I'm not hoping that it hits in that spot. I'm aiming. I'm concentrating 100% on that arrow going to that spot.
Okay, yeah.
Remy Warren said that to me one time. He goes, this sounds crazy, but someone gave me this advice, and it's like the best advice anybody ever gave me. He said, be the arrow.
Yeah.
He goes, like, I don't know what that means, but like, I use that.
It might mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
But to you, it means, you're so in the moment.
Yes.
You're the arrow.
I'm 100% when that arrow's released, I'm a part of it as it's going towards that elk.
Right.
Be the arrow. Like, don't just, I hope it works. Like, I got that from Joel Turner as well. You know, Joel Turner has that Shot IQ website. Yeah. And he goes over, and he helped me a lot, because he goes over the difference between a closed loop and an open loop process. I always forget which one is which. But one of them is automatic. You know, like a ball comes at you, you swing a bat. Like, you can't stop in the process. Right. And the other one is you're in control of it every step of the way. And that's where a shot routine helps me, because I'm making sure that all my things are checked off. So there's no chance I'm doing anything wacky. Right. There's no chance you're spazzing out in the moment. Yeah. And so those two things, and then what Remy said, be the arrow. Like, that sounds like, to someone who's never shot an arrow, that doesn't make any sense. But when there's a thing that you do when you release an arrow where you're so focused, your technique is on point, everything's lined up, but you're so focused as you're releasing that arrow, you never break that focus. Right. The only way I could break it was when I heard the arrow whack, and I saw it hit right in the sweet spot. I was like, now I can relax. Yeah. You know? Well,
and I remember, and I said this at that time, but I remember your follow through. It was just like, so I remember that arm coming back, and it's just, I don't know. It's, and I think that's where a lot of people make mistakes, is if you're new in it and there's so much pressure in the moment, and you've thought about it for so long, that it's just like the pin goes on the animal and they punch the trigger. Yeah. Because they want to be there before they've went through the process. Yeah. And so that's where people screw up. And all that whole thing, you making that a actual process each step. But I think I don't know. Do you do it, or is it subconscious? You know, do you think about all those steps?
I was thinking about all those steps while I was walking.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
while I'm going through the woods, I'm thinking about those.
But
steps.
on the shot,
it was almost automatic. Automatic.
Yeah, subconscious.
But that's why I said practice is so important.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'd practiced it so many times that I just looked at that elk like it was a target.
Yeah.
I knew what to do, but it was only because of the reps.
That moment was so crazy because, you know, we had that bull, and I don't know if it was that bull, but it was a big bull, but we were stuck over more to the left, and we could see him up there. We had these little smaller satellite bulls kind of in the way. We were in the sun, which was driving me crazy. So we ended up having to circle all the way back around and get back up there. Had a line of spruce we could sneak up. But it was, you know, those bulls, the bull you shot went and fought with another bull for a brief time. And we were switching back and forth which one to shoot because they were both big bulls. And it's just like, just to be able to slow that down and make such a perfect shot in a moment like that. Oh my God, it's so hard.
It was so awesome.
It was so amazing, but it's so hard.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah, he just got done fighting with a bull.
Nice shot.
God.
Oh my God, dude.
So he runs.
Oh
you
my
can't
God,
see it in
Joe.
this film. He runs up this ridge right here, and boom, he's down right there. I mean, couple seconds later. But this is everything that you hope for as a bow hunter.
Yeah,
you know,
it was amazing. And I see a lot of people who haven't hunted. They're under the impression that maybe as soon as the arrow hits the animal, how come it didn't go down? You know what I mean? Because they just don't know. So that bull was alive for seconds after that. Essentially, he ran up. Probably went about 100 yards.
He ran until there was no more air. Both of his lungs were gone.
Right,
so he just sprinted. He never knew what happened. He probably thought he got jabbed by another bull or something.
Yeah,
he had no idea
because he was just fighting with that other bull. And they take tines to the shoulder and everything.
Oh, he had holes in him. Remember,
all the time.
He
was beat up.
Yeah,
he
all
was
his
beat
holes
up.
in him.
But a lot of times bulls get shot with an arrow and they don't even realize it. You know, all of a sudden their blood pressure drops because it's hemorrhaging, and then they essentially pass out, but then they die.
Well, the bull that I shot last year in California, that's what happened to him. He walked 4 yards.
Yeah.
He just walked 4 yards and tipped over. Boom.
Right.
And he dropped right there. I mean, it was the closest to shooting an animal where he died that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He just died immediately. I hit him right in the heart.
Yeah, and I think it's people might be more familiar with rifle kills, and maybe they think but even with the rifle, they don't go right down. And I think it's like a rifle can be, they hear the sound. A rifle will kill by shock instead of hemorrhage. So it's, shit's getting blown apart. I think a well-placed arrow is about as beautiful death as an animal's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't animals that are living in a controlled environment where they're going to die of old age. They're going to get torn apart by animals. And in fact, John Dudley, while he was there, was 20 yards away from a mountain lion that was stalking the same bull he was.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Do you see that lion footage I put up?
Yeah.
So there's lions all over there.
All over there.
And chances are it's going to be death by a lion or and that usually will happen once they get weak because they can't fend off, they get injured. Maybe they're too old to get the feed they need in the winter. And then they're lion food.
And they also get jacked because they're blowing out all their energy while they're in the rut.
Yeah.
And they don't eat. They're just humping up a storm. And then when it's over, they're just like, oh, Jesus. And then the winter comes.
Oh, I know.
It's a perfect
right
storm.
On the heels. Yeah. It's rough. It's a rough life out there. But that's why I say it's like death by a well-placed arrow is, people say, well, people have the impression that these things aren't going to die ever, or they're going to live like we live. Well,
they also don't understand that all the money that's spent on this elk hunt, all of it goes to ensure the healthy populations of these animals.
Yeah.
Most of it. And most of it goes to wildlife preservation. It goes to keeping the habitat strong, the numbers strong. And this is what pays for if people love animals, you should love hunters, because hunters pay for most of the wildlife conservation in this country.
Yeah. And that message is, of course, that's, we've talked about that numerous times, but that message is getting out.
Yeah.
the the groomer today that I had, she was
You had a groomer? My
groomer.
dog Marshall goes to a groomer.
Right, yeah, so similar. But she doesn't hunt, but she wants to hunt because she wants to be, self-sufficient, essentially.
Right.
But she was talking about, she doesn't know, but she knows that doesn't hunting pay for protection of the animals? And I'm like, I explained what you just said. And so people are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting the message out, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different messages that you hear, stats, about meat consumption and food and like what's bad for the environment, what's good for the environment.
Right.
There's so many like small little sound bites that people like to rally off.
Yeah.
And that's this is something that's without a doubt, it's the best way you could ever get your meat.
Yeah.
There's nothing even close. It's not even a close second.
No.
It's the best way. These animals, by the time you get into in the rut, they're already breeding. And the ones we're getting, there's 8, 9 years old. They've already had multiple breeding seasons.
Yeah, in their prime.
Yeah, their genes are passed on.
Yeah.
And you're getting an animal that's just out there eating grass and living a wild life.
Meat's so good.
Oh, it's the best meat ever. I had it last night. It's
Did you?
sensational. It's so
So
good. I've been
good.
eating all week.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I feel, I got into hunting. I don't know if meat was up high on the list. I was just a young kid. Just wanted to hunt. Wanted to get my buck. Hey, you get your buck. That's all I wanted to do is get my buck. And then, but now the meat is, man, it's as much as the antlers for sure.
Yeah.
Just getting that meat, hundreds of pounds of meat, bringing it home, eating it, fuels us for everything we do. And it's like, to me, I mean, at our age, we're the same age now, but not long ago, our age was old.
We were dead.
Yeah, I feel better than I've ever felt. And I'm just like, if I was 25, I didn't feel as good as I feel right now. And maybe that's wild game meat. I don't know.
Guarantee you it has something to do with it. I guarantee you.
And how do you feel?
Felt fucking fantastic.
52.
I had a hard run this morning right before my podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's the most nutrient dense food that you can ever get.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at it. When you look at a backstrap from an elk, it's like a
God.
dark red. It looks like it's filled with nutrition.
Yeah.
It tastes so good. Like when you're eating it, I feel like energy.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but
It is.
It's just a way better meat. It's just way better.
I took video of Colton pulling out the tenderloin of your bull because people don't understand how you can get, without gutting it, you can get the tenderloins out, which are under the spine. And that, when he pulls that out, it's just like, if a sound bite could have came in or something and just like, it's like beautiful. It's like there should have been doves flying around because that piece of meat looked so perfect. And it's just like you say, when you eat it, it's like, I don't know. It's like energy injection.
Well, they've done studies on game meat versus domestic beef. They've also done studies on domestic beef that's raised on grain versus domestic beef that's raised on grass. Domestic beef that's raised on grain is probably like the least nutritious. And then domestic beef that's raised on grass is far superior, much healthier. But then you go with wild game meat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another 100% more nutritious. It's way more protein. Like the difference between a piece of beef and a piece of pull up the difference between like a 1 pound of beef versus 1 pound of elk. I think it's more than double the amount of protein.
Really?
Yeah, and then there's also insane amounts of amino acids and essential fatty acids. Like, you're getting all the grass fed. This animal's eating wild grasses.
Yeah.
And this animal's eating the same diet it would have eaten 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when I used to hunt elk in the Eagle Cap Wilderness, I used to think those elk were like high octane, like because they were so fast compared to the bulls I hunted over in Western Oregon. And I always thought that it was just that feed must be, I don't know, it just seemed like the elk were different and quicker. And so I'm thinking, well, if I'm eating those bulls and those bulls are elite athletes for bulls, it's like, this got to be amazing. This got to be amazing for me.
Well, it makes sense because the Eagle Cap Wilderness is like rich, dense forest.
Yeah.
Right? It's so green up there.
Yeah, it's they call it the Little Alps. I mean, it's rugged and it's It's steep. But there is good feed up there too for the animals.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, those bulls there,
They're studs.
amazing. Yeah, they are. Yeah. It's rough country though.
Yeah.
It's rough country.
Well, I mean, that's where they live. You know, what's interesting is before people came around, elk were like prairie animals.
Yeah, they were, right.
They moved to
adapted.
the mountains because of humans.
Yeah.
And then wolves and all these other animals. Mm-hmm. But when the pioneers first came here, elks were just roaming the fields.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And but they wised up. Like, look, we got to make it harder on these assholes.
They got into the rocks for sure up in the mountains.
What do you got, Jamie?
I don't know. It's varying information. It's
That's
not off
the
a great
problem.
website, so
Yeah.
Varying information. Anyway,
Yeah.
super good for you.
yeah. It doesn't say it's bad for you or anything. It's just
No. Yeah, well, that's the thing about, there's like not one standard website what's good for nutrition and figuring out what this stuff is. But
Yeah, no. You can pretty much have anything validated you want validated on the internet.
Well, it's interesting. I was listening to Ranella talk recently about this horrendous trip that they had in the backcountry because there were so many hunters during muzzleloader and archery season.
This year?
Yeah, in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much us talking about it all the time is affecting the numbers of people that actually go out and try it. Because you just stop and think about the numbers of people listening to this podcast. It's a bananas number. It's millions and millions of people. And
Well, the feedback I see is like there's, and they say, because I just had this talk with my buddy Wayne Endicott. Wayne. Mm-hmm. I was out at his place shooting the other day, and it says we've lost since 2016 2 million licensed hunters. And I told him, I said, I don't know where we lost them from, but bow hunting has got to, because he owns the bow rack, and bow hunting is skyrocketing. Because I see the following and people talking about it, like you mentioned. And he said he was in Colorado too, looking for elk, and ran into like 10 different guys back there.
Yeah.
So there is. Yeah, I
think people are looking at it more as like a pursuit, like a difficult pursuit, not just hunting for meat.
No, it's different now.
Yeah.
It's like it's changed.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because of us talking about it. It's had to have some sort of an impact.
I think it's had an impact for sure. And then I'm trying to think. I don't want to, But then on the other hand, so in the Eagle Cap Wilderness, my buddy was back there and said, you need to come back here and hunt again. And I'm like, yeah, I know. The thing with the wilderness is as a commercial. If you do a commercial activity, you can't even share the photos because they won't give a permit for it. That's why I had to quit filming back there. They made it illegal to film and release it as a commercial property. Well, even me with my following now, I couldn't even put up a photo from back there.
Because it would be commercial because you have sponsors?
Yeah, and they're making it seem like you're back there shooting a full-length feature film. You know what I mean? It's like they don't differentiate between
your iPhone,
shooting a movie, or an iPhone. And so
like what we shot in Utah, you couldn't have done?
No.
Wow, that's
no,
crazy.
Not in the wilderness. Not in the national forest. Yeah, wilderness they won't allow filming permits. So, but anyway, he said, I go, man. I said I've got so many good elk hunts on tap. I said he knows I love that country, and he goes, just for old time's sake, he goes, because I'm looking at a 360 and a 340 bull screaming, elk everywhere, and not a truck at the trailhead.
Wow.
So, but it's a long way back. It's rugged country. So I think, there's spots.
Yeah, there's still spots that are going to be hard to get to, right?
Yeah.
And those are the spots that discourage people, where you know that you're going to have to hike in 12 miles.
And then you have to get the animal out.
Yeah.
So if you're hiking in and you're off horse, it's the places that are off horse pack trails that don't get the attention, because you have to, if you kill a bull, it's coming out on your back.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of trips.
That's a lot of trips.
If you're going 12 miles out, or even if you have to pack it to a where horses can get, it's a lot of work.
Well, Green Tree, when he shot his bull and when he was on that crazy 28-day hunt, didn't it take him like 7 days to get his
Something
bull
like
out.
that, yeah,
By
yeah.
himself
I
on his
know.
back.
Yeah.
So
I
he's
think
hiking
somebody
out.
went up and helped him. But still, I mean, tons of work. But he had snow, I think.
And he was like 9 or 10 miles in, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So he's walking out 9 or 10 miles with 100 plus pounds
Yeah.
on his back each trip.
It's a lot of work.
Yikes.
It's amazing. I mean, you know how much work it is breaking
Yeah.
down a bull because
Yeah.
we've done it. But then you go from there to, okay, now I got to walk it out 10 miles.
And you got to preserve the meat, so you got to hang it, make sure it's getting
Yeah.
cool. And I mean that. My friend Ryan Callahan shot a bull. He got a tag in New Mexico, and he wrote a whole article about it because he
I
lost
read
the
that.
bull.
I read that.
Very disheartening.
Yeah, it was.
Huge bull.
Yeah, that was, I saw it was a nice 6 point. It was, yeah, he was, yeah. I mean, it's real. And, I mean, I think it's important to share those honest experiences. But also it's like, man, you don't want people who don't get it to get the wrong impression. That's
Yeah.
always
Right. With a wounded animal in particular, right?
Yeah.
When you see an animal get.
And he even mentioned that in the article. He said he realizes about I don't know, about what people might think about bow
Yeah,
hunters.
the stigma attached
The
to
stigma, yeah, that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It
Well,
was.
I think he shoots with a stick bow too, which is really weird. He shoots with a longbow.
Did he? He hit
Yeah.
that. He shot that bull with that.
He shot his last bull with a longbow. I think that's what he hunts with. You know?
Yeah, I think.
Which,
yeah,
you know, I get it. People like doing that. I get it, but like, come on, man.
it's hard. It's hard, and people ask me about that all the time.
Compound bow is hard enough.
When are you going to do that? And I'm like, God, I'm not that good with a compound bow, so I'm not really ready to make it harder.
Well, our friend Aaron Schneider, he's completely committed to a recurve. It's all he shoots with.
I
now.
just saw him the other day, like a post yesterday, I think, and he had a compound.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Maybe he's giving up on it.
No, I don't think he's given up.
Goes back and forth.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he's just practicing.
Unless it was somebody else's bow.
I don't know, but he is a crazy video of him shooting a mountain goat with a compound.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, with the recurve.
Oh, it was a recurve. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. He was on top of a cliff and shot down.
I know. That was pretty sweet.
It was pretty sweet. Yeah.
That was an amazing video. And I think he said he hurt his shoulder. Like before, he didn't know if he was going to be able to shoot it with a bow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he had done something to his shoulder. So I think I read it's like he was going to have to try to do half draw or as far back as he could get, and he ended up hitting it through the heart.
Oh, is that his shoulder's that fucked up?
I guess so. I don't know what happened.
That's the one thing that freaks me out about you. How do you not get injured as much as you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't understand how you don't get injured. Kind of weirds me out.
Weirds you out?
Yeah. Because as much as you lift weights, as much as you
Yeah.
run, I'm like waiting for you to get injured. I'm always getting injured.
Are you rooting for me to get injured?
Never.
So you're like,
Never. I'm
good.
like,
It's
no.
about
I'm like, this is
time.
crazy. I'm stunned. I'm like, you're made out of something different because all the running that you do and all the weightlifting you do, especially because you do high reps. You're doing all these reps. I'm like, no tendonitis, nothing. You're like, nope, everything's fine. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, part of it is I'm not going to ever say I'm hurt.
Oh,
So, I mean, I hurt. I mean, I'm not young.
sore, but not injured.
Yeah, I don't say I'm injured, but not sore, but I mean.
I remember the one time we had to go to Vegas where I was going to get a stem cell shot. You had Roddy McGree check out one of your feet.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
foot was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean.
what do you have, a stress fracture or something?
Yeah, and I get, you can't, you just can't do that and not get, there's going to be some repercussions to put on all those miles. But that's just part of the deal. So I just work through it. Just, I'm never going to, I mean, even my wife today, because it's like, haven't been sleeping. Then I had that whole thing this morning with GQ and then this, and whatever. She's like, well, how are you feeling? I said, I have no choice but to feel 100%. I said, so that's all I'm focusing on. So that's how I do. I mean, even if I'm down or don't feel good or haven't got sleep or I'm hobbled, I'm only thinking about I'm 100%. So I can't afford to think about, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I'm not going to be as good as I could be, or just don't even think about it.
That's ridiculous.
So I don't accept it.
Don't get one of these Whoop straps. It'll tell you. Listen,
Why?
bitch, you need
What
to
is
get
that?
some sleep.
Oh yeah.
It'll tell you. You need to
Yeah.
recover.
I
It'll
could-
tell you.
I could not I could not sleep last night because I was thinking about that whole thing today. Then I was thinking, God, what if that goes long and then traffic in LA? Then I'm late getting over here. So you got all these.
Well, that's the least thing to worry about. This is
I know,
there's
but
no
I'm still
schedule here.
I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
So instead of sleeping,
That keeps you up? Really?
Yeah, stupid shit like that.
That's stupid. Yeah, that's first world problems. Oh my God, I have a GQ shoot today.
Yeah.
What if it runs late and I can't do the podcast until 3?
Yeah, I know. Could you imagine?
Crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
See, now you know what real struggle is.
The real struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any real struggle anymore. My struggles are all fake.
God, you have to manufacture.
Yeah, I make my own bullshit. I make my
Yeah.
own struggles.
Yeah.
Workouts and training and all that shit.
Yeah, but like I always say, because so I could be a must be nice guy. So
Right.
fuck,
must be nice.
because I'm still punching the time clock 9 to 5.
Yeah,
right?
that's what's ridiculous.
So I'm like, oh, must be nice to be Joe Rogan.
It is nice. I'll tell you, it's fucking sweet.
But what I always like to tell people, because I was arguing with somebody on somewhere, but God, where was it? Anyways, about the elk hunt, like you. Oh yeah,
Must be nice.
yeah. I want to see you and Joe do a public land elk hunt. Joe's got to earn his way or whatever. I'm like, I said something like, trust me, Joe's earned where he's at. I mean, what? Because you have a different version of earn it in this one small aspect of life, hunting. I said, Joe's earned his whole everything he has. So it's like all the way so it's like people who say must be nice to be you. Holy shit, you've been through the fire for years, decades, and you're reaping the rewards.
Yeah, but they don't see that.
I know. That's irritating.
It doesn't bother me. What
bothers me.
I understand what they say. And people say like, oh, public land is harder. It is harder. But here's the problem with that. You're dealing with a pressured animal. I don't want to deal with pressured animals. I know that I know it's harder. It's harder to have success on public land. But I don't think it's better. Because dealing with all those people that are going after the same animals and those, like Ranella was talking about elk that were silently bugling. Like they're opening up their mouth and they're not bugling because they don't want to get called to.
Yeah.
They don't want to get chased down because they're so fucking pressured.
And wolves have the elk don't call around wolves either because the wolves come.
Yeah.
So like what I've found is, because I've done it, I was only on public land for 20 years. I couldn't afford anything else. So I haven't found that killing an elk is any easier or harder. It's just they're bigger because they're older.
Yeah.
So I've always killed bulls, but they're going to be like a 3-year-old bull, a 5-point.
Right.
Now I'm going to kill a 10-year-old bull. It's still a bull, but it's just different. They just, on public land, there's not as many that are getting to that age class because every other hunter out there is going to shoot the first bull they see.
Right.
So that's the difference. It's not, the hunting doesn't seem harder or easier to me or different. It's still killing a bull with an arrow, but it's just that size.
When you go to private land, you have more opportunities, there's more animals. But to me, they're acting wild. They're acting like wild animals because they're not pressured because there's not that many people out there. So it's rare that they encounter people. And, and when you're in a place like we were at, which is 270,000 acres in Utah, they're all just living in the mountains like they've been living in the mountains for thousands of years. That's, to me, it's a pure experience. And I know it's not available to everybody. And I know you have to pay money to do it. And I get that. I get that it's not available to the average working man. I get it. But it's definitely harder to do public land, without a doubt. But I don't think it's as good. The reason why I don't think it's as good is because those animals are acting like animals that are being hunted all the time. They're pressured. I've been on public land hunts. I get the difference. And it's definitely more satisfying when you're successful because it's more difficult. And I know how people can take pride in that. But I think a lot of the pride they're taking in it, they're taking because they don't have the option. Like if you could say to these people that are talking shit, like you say, hey, would you like a free hunt at the Deseret in Utah? They'd be like, yeah. Of course they would say yes.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to experience what we experienced that day, which was a pure, wild, rut fest, a pure wild experience where these animals just going off. I mean, we're deep, deep, deep into the mountains. They're by themselves. They're all bedded down up there. There's a hot cow, and they're all going crazy.
Yeah.
They're fighting each other. I mean, just the sounds that we were hearing was so epic. That video that you got of us walking,
it's
and you just
crazy.
hear, brah, just all day.
Yeah.
All day they were going off.
Yeah, it was amazing.
We hit the perfect spot.
That spot, that day, that time.
Yeah.
That was it. And I've been in rut fest on public land. You know, I mean, they that's how they act, and that's in the wilderness, deep, where they're not getting. So it's like I've always looked for places my whole career, hunting career, where the animal. I'm not competing against Tom, Dick, and Harry and the elk.
Right.
You know, so to me that was always like, well, the way I can do that is go further than anybody wants to go. So I'd go to the wilderness to hunt those. So it's essentially that without having to go 12 miles deep.
Right.
You know, and it's those elk they're acting natural. And you know, I've been on the other side though too. I get what the guys are saying.
I get it. Yeah.
When I couldn't hunt, my goal has always been to go on the best elk hunts I could.
Right.
Sometimes that was, instead of hunting the Oregon coast, that was going to Eastern Oregon. Then I went from Eastern Oregon to Wyoming. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better than Oregon. It was better. Then I went from Wyoming to
Colorado.
That's right. Eastman's had me going in 2005. I killed a 7x6 in Wyoming. Then they said the next year, and that was public land hunt, day 9. And then it's like, hey, 2005, we want to film you on this hunt. And I'm like, well, if it's better than Wyoming, I'll go to Colorado. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a better hunt. And so it's just been that. And so now it's been the places that I go, I spend my month of September, they're the very best places I can find in the United States. And it's just an extension of that process, 30 years of it.
Right.
That's it. That's all anybody's trying to do.
Yeah.
You don't try to go on worse elk hunts.
Some people do, though.
I don't know.
Some people really love the grind.
I never did.
Some people just love the grind.
Yeah.
They also
I
love
get the
bragging
grind.
rights.
I get the grind, but it's still, they don't want to go on a worse elk hunt, though.
But they want the bragging rights of public land.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll definitely take a public land limited entry draw tag if they get it, which is essentially like being on a private land.
Yeah.
Because nobody can hunt there.
No. And that's what, like, back home, it's the Winnahaw unit. They give 20 tags.
20.
20. And it's
For the entire state.
Huge area. It's just one area. It's a Winnahaw
out-of-state
unit.
people apply for it as well?
Yeah. I don't think they get, Oregon's terrible for out-of-state, for non-residents. But I know residents get 20. So huge area, 20 tags. That's not that much different than paying a landowner to have this area for yourself.
Right.
So I put in for Winnahaw. If I draw it, I'm hunting there. It's kind of the same thing.
I understand where people are coming from. Whenever someone's got something that you can't afford, you get that must be nice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I just the problem that I have with it is that the animals, when they're pressured, they're not acting natural. And you're dealing with too many people. It's definitely gives you better bragging rights, right? If you shoot a giant bull on public land, it's like, wow, that's another level of accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, you know? That's the real grind. Like what we're doing is, what I'm doing, first of all, is the easiest way to the road, because I've got some of my best friends are the best hunters on earth. I mean, having you as a great friend and Dudley and being able to take instruction from you guys and learning how to bow hunt, and like just having you that day with me. First of all, what a wake up call about endurance. Here I am fucking running hills every goddamn day trying to keep up with you. It's such a fucking bummer, man.
Wow.
It's still like it's so annoying, Jamie. He gets to the top of the hill, he's not even out of breath. I'm soaked with sweat. I'm heaving and hoeing. I'm like, what if I didn't run? Like, what if I wasn't doing all this goddamn hill running?
Well, that one little burst we had because the wind, to get the wind right, and then that bull coming over. I didn't know if the bull was coming. That was a kind of a.
It was a hustle.
It was a hustle. We had to straight up out of the creek.
Straight up. Thank God I do that all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recovered quick.
You got up there. Yeah, and you did. And that's That's bow hunting. Is like to be able to think you're going to make an accurate shot after pushing yourself like that. That's rough.
Very rough. That's what I think people need to understand about like the reason why you condition yourself. And I know you've taken a lot of shit from lazy hunters that think it's unnecessary to work out as hard as you do. Come with us, bitch.
Yeah.
Come with us. Come that day. Just do what we did that day.
Yeah.
God damn. And as much as I run, I was still struggling to keep up.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
It is.
And then the whole thing is whether or not you can recover. So even though you're heaving and hoving, heaving and hoeing, what's the word? What do you say? Heave ho? you're fucking heaving.
Gasping.
You're gasping for air at the top. Your heart rate drops down if you're in shape.
Yeah.
So even though you've done the sprint, within a minute, everything's dropping back down, and then you're cool again. And then you can make the shot.
The biggest thing I see is not only that recovery, but making good decisions.
Yeah.
Because it's still hunting.
Fatigue.
You still have to outwit.
Yep.
So what happens is when people get gassed, they take shortcuts. You know, they get gassed from going up the hill hard, trying to get this, and then they're like, God, do I really have to circle around to keep the wind right?
Right.
Maybe I can just get away with here. So it's like you take shortcuts, and you can't take shortcuts. So the more fatigued you are, the more inclined you are to take shortcuts, the better shape you are, you're going to do it right, and you're going to make good decisions.
The first bull that we got into in the early morning, that bull was like 52 yards, and I was at full draw, and he caught a whiff of us.
Yeah.
And he was walking right into the path.
Yeah.
Right into the path. He would have been broadside. I mean, that would have been 17 yards closer than the bull I shot, or close to it.
Yeah.
And he just, fuck this. Pew!
Yeah. He was gone.
Yeah.
That wind will get you.
Their sense of smell and their understanding of their environment is so humbling.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
To watch them like peek their head up and catch your wind for a second and then just start running.
Oh, I know. And you see, I thought, I don't know, you see them and they'll like kind of, they'll put their nose up and they'll be like,
What
wait a
is
second.
that?
Yeah.
I smell cologne.
Yeah, cologne. I don't know about cologne.
I smell some old spice.
Yeah, I did want to say one thing about the whole must be nice type thing is a big pet peeve of mine is not so much the public and private and all that, but it's just like hunters are a small group anyway. Why the hell are we trying to rip each other apart, judge, cannibalize the small group, which we're fighting for our space in this world anyway?
Right.
Come on. I mean, like when I was defending one time you and Jocko, I think maybe it was on Andy's page, but whatever.
Must be nice.
Yeah. And it's like, guys, they're fucking out hunting, celebrating our lifestyle. I mean, because they'll be like, well, I don't have a problem with you because you've been doing it for 30 years. I'm like, who cares? They're hunters. They're talking about it. They're doing it. This is a win. Win. What are we doing? I mean, because they haven't been out there for 30 years and couldn't afford an elk tag, they shouldn't do it? I mean, come on.
Yeah, people get short-sighted and selfish.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's in comedy. That's in everything, man. That's in everything. There's always going to be people that think that way.
But comedy's not something that the public can vote out. The public can vote out hunting.
Right.
So we start cannibalizing ourselves. It's not,
that's true.
I mean, we could. I'm not going to say we got some momentum going now, but we could lose it.
Yeah, it's possible. There's enough people that are ignorant to what hunting really is.
Yeah.
And enough people that actually eat meat that are ignorant to what hunting really is.
Exactly. I mean, it's like 96% of the people are eating meat, but I think if we explain how hunting works but we have to have all hunters on that same page supporting each other.
My wife was at dinner with some friends, and one of her friends' husbands was asking what I do, and she said, he's actually on an elk hunt right now, and the guy was eating a steak, and he goes, well, that's abhorrent. He's eating a steak, and she's laughing at him. She goes, you're eating a steak.
Yeah.
Do you understand that you're eating a steak?
It's crazy.
And he's from England.
The disconnect.
And they don't like over there. They don't hunt. They get super confused over there. No, it wasn't Ricky Gervais. It's not. But Ricky has no problem with people hunting for food.
Yeah,
he has a problem with trophy hunting.
Yeah, I know.
But I think he also has a distorted understanding of what that is too.
But people also lump it all in together.
Yes, they do.
So especially over in Europe. I mean, in England or wherever. But it's just like, so that's what I say. Let's just, first of all, let's all hunters be on the same team.
We certainly should be. Yes.
And then get that message out correctly. That's all I've tried to do.
Well, one of the things that I try to do as much as possible is put those images of my cooking.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at that fucking wild, dark meat that I'm cooking and I'm eating all the time. All the goddamn time.
Well,
you know?
And what I also try to do too, and I put one up today, and I think you could even speak to this because we shared that emotion with your bull, but there is, you know, I've said it before, and maybe some hunters think I'm full of shit or I don't know, overemphasizing, but the feeling of I'm not happy when I kill. I mean, the killing of the animal is not fun. So I know an animal's dying. I've worked very hard to make that shot like you made the shot. But then when we got to the animal and there was he was done. But it takes a while for the life to get all the way.
He was still moving a little bit,
right.
And I shot him a second time while he was dead. But he was gasping for air, and the correct thing to do is to give him another shot.
But that moment was heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
And, you know.
At the end, we all took our hats off, and we all, we praised him, and we said, a little prayer. Mm-hmm. When all the hunters got together, we all said, you know, thank you to the elk. Mm-hmm. We all took our hats off and bowed our heads, and the guides took some of the grasses that these elk eat, and they've been doing this as a tradition. They rolled it up into like a bundle, like a meal, and they placed it on the remnants of the carcass. Mm-hmm. So
the bull's last meal.
Yeah, like a thank you.
A sign of that. And but even before that, when we just approached your bull, it was intense and real, and it wasn't happy.
It's not a happy
It
moment.
was like...
it's happy when you make the shot.
It is.
But people don't understand that that's because it's a relief. Because there's so much tension, and it's so difficult.
You've worked so hard to do that.
Yeah.
To make that. We talked about what it takes to make that shot.
I would like people to experience that because it's so hard to put into words. To be into that moment and to be that person that draws that bow back and makes that shot.
Yeah.
It's so hard to put that into words.
No,
and I don't even think the video does it justice. It's so hard for a person on the outside to get it.
I know you do have to be there, and you have to watch an animal die. And it's, I don't know. I mean, it's a heavy moment. But so when I put up that, me with my bowl and my hand on it, that's not contrived. That's real.
Right.
That's real. I feel real emotion, and I respect and honor and love the journey of that hunt. And the fact I took the animal's life is part of it, but that doesn't, it's not lost on the fact that I know I took it, and it means that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we did that to that elk as he was passing too. Same thing. Mm-hmm. And I think about it every time I eat it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's the special bond hunters have with their food, their meat. I mean, specifically.
Yes.
That the guy who is aberrant, his comment.
It's abhorrent.
Abhorrent. Yeah, abhorrent. Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about?
Well, he's a fool.
Yeah,
I mean, he was literally carving into a steak while he was saying that.
Right. So hunters have that connection. And I saw this video today. This is what drives me crazy. And I don't want to go back, rehash everything we've ever talked about. But I saw this video today. Who had it up? Anyway, these vegans were set up in front of this, I guess, where you get hamburgers.
Oh, that big guy bursting through the line?
Yeah. So when do hunters ever get confrontational and violent with people who don't want to eat meat?
Right.
When does that happen?
Well, they think somehow or another by blocking this burger stand that they're changing the world. They're just trying to be activists. You know, they're trying to get a message out. And most of them will quit. They're going to quit veganism, and they're going to start eating meat again because of their health.
Yeah.
That's the truth. It's some ridiculous number. Google this. What number? I think they said the number of vegans and vegetarians that eat meat when they're drunk is something outrageous. It's like close to 90%.
Yeah. Well, no
But
kidding.
how many vegans wind up quitting and eating meat? I wonder if they've ever done a study on that.
This is like a big thing because, there's been a movement, sort of a movement, and people have different success rates with being a vegan. But Cam Newton, who is a quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, big dude, 6'6", 250, 260, he went vegan and he cannot get healthy. He's been injured. He's the face of the franchise, probably $100 million contract. Made it to the Super Bowl, but since just been on a decline, and it's like almost hand in hand with the change into vegan.
Well, you know that guy, Dr. Sean Baker. He's the advocate of
the
that
meat
carnivore
guy.
diet. He marks all these people that were originally in that Game Changers documentary that James Cameron put out.
Yeah.
A shit ton of them quit before the movie came out, and they had to pull them out of the movie because they were vegan, and because of health reasons they had to quit.
Right.
It's an indoctrination movie, and it's extremely biased, and it's not focusing on all of the various problems that people have. It's only focused on the positive aspects of it and distorting the reality of those positive messages. Particularly like the strong man who's on a fuckload of steroids.
They forget that part.
They forget that part.
Yeah.
And then all these other athletes, like these you're not talking, and even the strong man, he's not like an elite strong man. You're not talking about some, like when I had Robert Oberst in here,
Right.
he's like, everybody eats the same shit. He's like meat and rice. Like they eat meat.
Yeah.
Like all those strong men eat the same thing. The real strong men, the ones who
Right.
actually win the competitions. What do you got, Jamie?
It's very controversial research that came out,
course.
but it's a very repeated number of 84% of vegans and vegetarians end up going back to eating meat at some level.
Yeah, right before they die.
Folks, we're omnivores. We're
Yeah.
omnivores. We exist better. We are more healthy on an animal and vegetable diet.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to kill animals, please eat eggs, eat oysters, eat shrimp and lobsters. They're fucking heartless, soulless little monsters that live at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
But if you want to be healthy, just eating only vegetables is a fucking hard road.
Yeah.
It's a hard road. And this idea that you're going to save the world, listen, large scale agriculture is fucking terrible for the environment. It's terrible. You want to all of our agricultural, when they talk about greenhouse gases, we talked about this the other day. 9% of all greenhouse gases is because of agriculture. Less than half of that is because of meat. Less than half of that is because of beef. Elk?
Yeah.
How much is that?
Oh, man.
It's
Yeah.
fucking zero.
Yeah.
You have if you just eat elk, you have way less impact on the greenhouse gases than you do if you're a vegetarian. And that's a
Right.
fact.
Right.
If you're eating grain, not only that, you're eating grain, man, you're responsible for a fuckload of death, whether you like it or not.
For sure.
Those monstrous
Rabbits.
combines, those
rabbits,
indiscriminate.
deer fawns,
Yeah.
mice,
Forget about insects.
birds. Yeah.
And then the pesticides, displacement of wildlife. You're not supposed to have enormous fields filled with fucking corn.
Right.
And grain, wheat, and all that shit. That's not normal.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Yeah. There's definitely animals dying from that, but for us to live, animals are going to die.
Yeah.
No matter how you want to look at it, at some point, whether it was to build your house or build the road you use to get to work, or the fields that you eat your salad and corn and wheat from, animals are dying for us to live. That's just how it works. You cannot live on this earth and not have animals die because of that.
And I like that these people that are vegans are doing this and they think this way because they care, because they don't want suffering. They want these animals to live. Mm-hmm. I don't want factory farming. I think it's terrible. It doesn't. None of that appeals to me at all. When I see chickens stuffed into cages like that, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't want to. I want to boycott every step of the way. When I see pigs stuffed into those cages next to each other, shitting on the floor, I don't want to have any part of that. I want to boycott all of that. Same thing with beef. Same thing with anything that's factory farm.
Yeah,
but that's not what we're doing.
No. And there are some good cattle ranchers that have good operations.
Yes, sure.
That's not the factory farm. They're doing it right. And it's like more people are more in tune with that. Like one of my sons works at a meat shop at a grocery store, and he said people ask all the time, where's this meat from? how was it raised? So people are getting,
Yes.
and it's like supporting ethical cattle ranching. I'm all for that.
Me too.
That's awesome.
That's one of the great things about one of my sponsors is Butcher Box. And Butcher Box has a total commitment to humanely raised animals, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef, no antibiotics, no hormones ever. So they have these relationships with cattle ranchers, and they use sustainable ranching and sustainable farming. So when you're buying meat from a good source like that, you're cutting out all the stuff that I hate about farming, about factory farming.
Me too. Yeah. They're a good outfit. One thing I did also see is, because I killed 3 bulls this year, and it's weird because people will say, well, there's no way you could eat all that. So I said, well, how good are you at math? So I go through, I got 5 people in my family. Average person eats 220 pounds of meat a year. My family eats more than that, but just say for that. So that's 1,100 pounds of meat. As we know, say a big bull elk, you might get 300 pounds. So if I killed 3, that's 900 pounds of meat. That's still less than I'm going to eat. So it's like people would be like, it'd be better if you killed maybe just 1 bull, and if you bought the rest, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. It doesn't. That seems
Doesn't
weird.
make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
They also don't understand you have freezers. You keep everything. I also share it with friends.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
every time I kill a bull, I have a ton of friends that are lined up.
There's nothing I love more than giving away meat.
It. I
It's
love
like
it.
I always said, as a hunter, we are providers. That's how
Yeah.
it's always been.
Yeah.
So there's a certain sense of satisfaction and I don't know if it's honoring the animal. I don't know what it feels like, but it feels like to me, it feels right to give meat and to have somebody say, man, that elk you gave me, that was the best meat I've ever had.
I just bought a ton of freezer bags so I can give away to friends. You know, I get elk sausage made, and when in Utah, that the butcher that handles the meat out there makes great jerky.
Yeah.
So I get a bunch of jerky made out and hand that out to people. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. It makes me happy.
Me too.
When I get text messages from people, dude, we made elk meatballs, and look at the roast I made. Like, you know, my friend Tom Papa, he makes bread. And he makes his own handmade sourdough bread. It's amazing. It's delicious. And he brings bread. I give him meat. And
perfect.
We share pictures and shit. And it makes me really happy when one of my friends sends me a meal, and I know that they're eating an animal that I harvested myself.
Oh man,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's high octane. It almost shouldn't. It might screw up your sober October because it's so powerful.
Well, you know, Ian Edwards is going to eat elk.
Is he?
Yes.
He needs
Ian,
to.
who's been a vegan forever. He
He's
said
falling
that
asleep.
he falls asleep. If you just look at him funny, he falls asleep. But he said that he'll eat a piece of my elk because I killed it myself.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out a time we can come over to the house. I want to cook it perfectly.
Oh yeah.
I want to have it all set up for him.
Good.
I'm going to rock his world. I'm going to film it too.
Yeah.
This would be the first meat he's eaten. And well, you said that you did that with your pastor.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure you don't give him too much, though, right?
Right. Yeah, he came over. He'd been a vegan for about 13 years, and yeah, ate. I don't know how he felt the next day, but it's like if you gave your dog two. I mean, you can't mix up the food like have it. I don't know. It can be too rich.
Yes.
Basically, because people aren't used to that much richness in their meat. So,
right, especially
if they
the
haven't
guy's
eaten
just
meat.
eating carrots.
Yeah,
he's eating yams and shit.
It's going to be like the polar opposite.
Yeah,
So,
I want to put in a kitchen here. I want to figure out how to put a kitchen in here and then cook for people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think like have something where I have a Traeger set up with some sort of a pipe that goes through the roof so the smoke can go through the roof.
Perfect.
Fuck yeah, I would love to do that and have like a stove top where I could sear steaks.
Oh,
just
God.
like
So
cook
good.
for people. Just let them know like this is what it's like.
Yeah, they'll be going down shooting a bow before you know it.
It's a long road, though.
Oh
What's
my God.
interesting? It's like the road from you coming over my house, or you coming into the studio the first time, many years ago, and getting me that Hoyt, and then showing me how to shoot, and then taking me bear hunting, and taking me elk hunting, and all these reps and years and years and years of practice that leads to like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's what's crazy about it.
Yeah, and you had a shortened journey.
Oh
so
yeah,
it's like,
way shortened.
Because you had, like you said, you had so many encounters. Like you had almost a lifetime of encounters in one hunt.
Well, and also particularly Lanai. I think Lanai helps you a lot.
It does.
Because you're shooting at these little ninjas. They're fast as shit.
So
They're
fast.
just so delicious, and they must know it.
They're so fast.
And they're so pressured. They're the most pressured animals on earth. And you
know.
get so many stalks and so many hunts in when you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, those hunts that we do every year in Lanai, that to me, I feel like that's my like training camp.
Yeah, for sure.
Tightens up. You know?
Sure. It's still, I mean, tell me what you thought about like when you're elk hunting, because they're still like, when do you move fast? When do you slow down? What you can get away with?
Right.
That's still, Lanai helps that, but it's almost like I've noticed each species is different as far as what you can get away with.
Yeah.
And elk they're noisy, so you can make a little bit of noise. They're big animals. They're herd animals. So it's almost like each species has its own specialty.
Yeah, Lanai, you can't get away with shit.
No.
You can't get away with shit. Most of what me and Dudley did before I shot my deer this year is crawl.
Yeah.
It took forever to get to where we were going. It took like an hour and a half of just crawling.
Yeah.
Just slowly crawling, creeping and crawling. Because those animals evolved around tigers.
Yeah.
So they're all just like completely wild. And then you add on top of that the fact they're incredibly pressured because they have to hunt them. They think there's as close to 30,000 of them on that island, which is just bananas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they've got people. Well, it's great for the people that live there because they get fresh, delicious, organic, wild meat all the time. I mean, everybody on that island is eating axis deer left and right. I mean, they must be some of the fucking healthiest people on earth.
Even the Four Seasons serves it.
Yes. Those burgers, man. Those axis deer burgers are sensational.
Do we have those sliders?
Oh, so good.
God.
But where else on earth can you hunt in this incredible tropical paradise and then stay at the Four Seasons?
And run a mountain.
Yeah, and run the mountain, right. Well, you ran more than you bargained, right?
That was far. I mean, I asked the guys there, I said, hey, how far is it if I go from here to here? And they're like, 7 miles. No, it was like 15. It was a grind and humid. Oh my God.
Well, luckily you're accustomed to that.
Yeah. No, it was good.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was saying, well, Cam, when he first started running, he had a hard time running a mile. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. It was, and when I first started, I mean, I was okay in high school, because I did all the sports, and we'd do maybe a 10K during the summer. So, but then after high school, then I was just like, I thought it was really cool I could buy beer. So I was like 21, and I'd swing by the Riverview Market on the way home and buy a 6-pack of Tall Boys. And, I thought that was cool. I could pound some, Coors Light. And I'm like, oh, I'm a stud now. And then I started, to get fat. And I'm like, nobody cared. It was like, I wasn't living up to any expectation. I was actually living down to expectations. And so I went through a phase there where I was just like not healthy. I was still hunting, but no real sense of, I wasn't accountable for anything or to anybody, didn't have any high expectations. So I'm like, whatever. And I remember I signed up for the Butte to Butte 10K, and I got there to 5th Street Public Market. It's about 5 miles. I had another mile left, and I quit. And I'm just like, this sucks. And so that was, I think from there, I'm like, nobody feels good. You don't feel good when you're in that place. So it was a slow grind, but I got to where I just kept doing more and more and more. And then I did my first marathon like in 2002.
When you quit the next day, how shitty did you feel?
I felt shitty all the time. So it wasn't like, it wasn't, I was living with 4 guys and we'd just drink beer all the time. And, I remember this one guy got DUI, like 2 DUIs in 3 weeks. I think both in my truck. At least I wasn't driving. I would never drive, I never got caught. But it was just stupid. So it was just like another disappointment. It didn't stand out.
It was just, there was no success.
No. It was just, I don't know. I didn't have anything going. It's like, and that's where my life was. So it's just like.
What changed?
I don't know.
Well, something must have changed because now you're running 240 miles. You're
Yeah.
probably the most successful bow hunter on the planet Earth. I mean, that's a giant. I mean, you have 800,000 Instagram followers. Something fucking changed. Like, what changed? How did it go from you being this guy who quit after 5 miles and you're drinking beer all the time and you're hanging out with a bunch of ne'er-do-wells?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you are an inspiration to millions of people. Like, what's the shift?
I think having kids, so got married, and then Tanner was born in 93. And then it's like, man, it's not cool being a loser dad.
No,
I mean, it's one thing being a loser dad, because now I'm affecting other people's lives. And so I'm like, I thought, I gotta be an example. I want my kids, every parent wants their kids to have more than they had and had a better life than they had. And so, my dad wasn't around, and, I always remember wanting him around and just, wanting to see him. So I'm like, maybe that. And then it was, I think I wanted my kids, I wanted to challenge them. So I remember my first marathon, I also made Tanner, he was 7. And yeah, so it was 2002, I think. Or he would have been, I don't know. Anyway, he was young. I think he just turned 8, actually. And I made him do the half marathon. So I ran the marathon. He did the half marathon.
At 8?
At 8.
Jesus.
He did good. Got like 2:02, which is a good half marathon, especially for an 8-year-old. So then I started introducing my kids to these challenges, because I'm like, I remember my life growing up, and it wasn't comfortable, but not a positive way. And I'm like, well, I think these kids, if they don't have challenges introduced, they're going to be soft. They're going to have it too easy. So I would, that's why they've run marathons and they've done these things, is because that's kind of how they grew up. So I think it was kind of a combination of being a parent, wanting my kids to have a successful path, and then just saying I didn't want to be a loser dad. So just kind of evolved from there.
Didn't Truett run 100 miles with you? Ran, what did he get to, 80, 85 miles?
90.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And his knee blew up?
No. His will broke. Yeah.
I thought he had a knee issue.
Probably. I mean, but yeah.
A little bit,
all sorts of shit happens. You hurt.
Right.
But no, he... God, it was like, that was just this past summer. And, because running 100 miles in 24 hours that's something. I mean, I could never do that he's 22, I think. There's no way I could have done that then. I mean, it takes usually you don't have that mental strength until you're older. You've been through life and you've been beat down and disappointed and had your heart broke. And that's when you get like, hey, this pain is just temporary. This is for one day. I can get through anything for a day. Well, when you're 22, it's like
no point of reference.
No, it's great. It's been gravy the whole time. But to run 100 miles in 24 hours you can tell that to anybody and it'd be like, God dang, congratulations,
Right.
So he wanted to do that. That was his goal. So I said, all right. I go, if you get to 60 miles in 12 hours, you can grind out 40 in the second 12. And I said, that would be good. So he got to 60 miles in 12 hours on pace. Everything was good. And it just too painful. He's like, I think he got 31 miles, or almost 31. I think it was 90 point something. Just, he ended up trying to take a couple naps, was in the truck for a while. And I remember I'd be like, so what are we doing? I'd go by the truck because I never stopped.
Right.
And
so it's a course?
It's a
loop?
1.1 mile loop.
Oh my God.
And
so
you
you're
do it
doing
for-
it 100 times.
Right. You do it for 24 hours. And so I'd come by and I'd give him a little while
Right.
to chill out. And, but then I'd be like, what are we doing here? And for whatever reason, he got 90, which is still 90 miles is a long ass way.
That's a long ass
On
way.
your feet.
Yeah. That's like San Diego.
But it's not 100.
Oh, it's not
So-
Mexico.
No, I'm like, so we joke around too, because I am, I'm supportive, but also I mean, I am how I am. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I go, God, you couldn't have got 10 more miles, 10 more miles, and you would have been in the 100-mile club. Because I got this little wood chip. It's like the smallest little token you could get. It's not even like Goggins' coin right here, but it's half the size. It's a wood chip, and it says 100 miles. I'm like, hey, do you have a chip like that? Oh, no. You only got 90. They don't make 90-mile chips. And so, like we said, it's like, God, the worst part about that is to get those last 10, you got to get the first 90. And that hurts.
Ooh, right.
So I think he's going to hit his big goal was to get 100 miles in 24 hours, which he didn't get, and then also qualify for Boston, which he did. So I think we're going to.
What do you have to do to qualify for Boston?
For his age group, he had to run under 3 hours in a marathon. So he ran the Eugene Marathon in 2:57.
Wow.
So he qualified.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's a good run.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Jamie's shaking his head, yes.
Yeah, he ran, that's like 6:44
That's fast.
miles for 26.
That's fucking fast.
Yeah.
And
So
the world record, they're trying to get under 2, right?
under 2, yeah.
And they're using like special shoes and shit. And
Those guys are amazing.
yeah.
They're so amazing.
I bought these soles, these insoles that are supposed to be like springy insoles. You know those things? I don't think they do a goddamn thing. I really don't. I
Yeah.
tried them and then I took them out. And I'm like, these fucking things, they're just hard.
Yeah.
They're just hard.
It's
Are they supposed to do anything? Springy insoles?
I don't
At the end of the
think
day,
so.
you have to run.
You got to grind it.
just gotta
out.
keep going.
You got to grind it out.
Especially when you're going up hills. I don't think they do a goddamn thing because you're on your
toes.
You're on your toes the whole way anyway.
Yeah. It's I don't know. What I found is nothing really helps.
Nothing.
Running
Oh.
is just running. I mean, the better shape you're in, probably the more enjoyable it is. The more, if you can, I usually 99% of the time I'm by myself. So I heard you talking with Red Band about yoga, and it's sort of like that.
It's a meditation.
It's like
Yeah.
you're out, and it's just like, I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel centered. If I can run with somebody like Courtney, then that's just like Christmas, you know.
You're also running out there when you run Mount Pixa. You're running up there in that clean air and beautiful view. And it's like you're getting
it's healthy all the
beautiful
way around.
dose of nature.
Yeah, it's healthy all the way around, and it's so I just look at it as like, hey, I'm doing this. If I get to run with anybody else and it's a distraction, that's just kind of, the exception rather than the rule.
How many days a week are you running these days?
Every day.
Every day. Sunday too.
Every day.
Every day. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I always say rest days are for pussies.
But the thing is, you're doing the same thing every day too. You don't even mix it up.
Yeah.
I mix it up.
Yeah.
Like I'll do kickboxing one day, yoga the next day. For me, I have to mix it up. If I don't mix it up, I go crazy.
The way I've found it, because I used to bike, I used to do all these things, but nothing compares to running. If you just want to get not only just for fitness, but discipline, running.
Yeah.
Running sucks for everyone. So it's like just to be able to get out there and get in a groove, that's discipline.
Yep.
And I've used that discipline for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So, but it's, the building block is, and it makes shooting a bow. So we talked about shooting a bow as discipline. That's fun.
Yeah.
If you can't get out and shoot a bow, it's like, come on.
Yeah, it's way more fun than running.
Yeah, right. So that's why I look at it. It's like, because I always say run, lift, shoot. Lifting, you get a good pump, whatever, you got some music going, you can get kind of jacked up. Shooting is just fun. It's running. That's the key to the discipline. So,
you're doing something to your mind. You're forcing your mind to it strengthens that ability to get in that groove and
yeah.
sometimes I hear my breath when I'm running, and when I'm really pushing it, when I'm going up a hill, and it's so satisfying that you could keep up the pace.
Yeah.
There's something about keeping up that pace that's so satisfying. And me, I always run with the dog. So it's like I got my buddy. He comes running back to me. I'm so happy. He's so fucking happy, man. I had to film how he jumps out of the truck, because when I bring him to the trail and he jumps out of the truck, he's like, his whole body's shaking. And then I open the gate and he just jumps. He leaps.
If you could have that energy,
oh my God.
That's how Cash is too. It's like no matter where you go, he wants to. If you're going outside, he wants to be first outside. If you're going inside, he wants to be first back inside.
How happy is he?
Yeah.
When you see this dog, he's so
I know.
happy.
Oh, Marshall is. I told you, I tried to take his stuffed animal, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. Just let me know when you're done. He's just like sitting there with his mouth closed, just looking at me. I had it in my mouth. Like, my dog would be like.
You put it in your mouth, that disgusting stuffed animal?
Yeah, just my teeth.
Dude, you're going to get a disease.
No, a disease from Marshall? That's how they say. Don't they say a dog's mouth? How can a
cleaner
dog's
than
mouth?
a person.
Yeah, they lick their balls.
I don't know how that works.
That doesn't.
Oh, that's Cameron. Oh, there he is.
Right. See that little thing. Marshall is so nice. But
I've been taking him to work with me because otherwise, when we run in the morning, and then he's just bored all day waiting for everybody to come home. So he comes here and hangs out with everybody.
So I took that thing from him, and he's like, not possessive.
No.
He's like, yeah, just let me know when you're done.
I never had a dog like him before.
No.
He's so sweet.
So nice.
I'm so used to pit bulls, and I have mastiffs and all these big scary ass dogs.
Yeah.
And he's just a different thing, man. I have to remind myself. You know?
He's
like,
he's
big sweetie.
A special dog. I don't know if all retrievers like that.
Supposedly Goldens are all like that. They're all just like Commander David Fravor, who was on the other day.
Yeah.
He said he's had 5 Goldens. He said, I wouldn't get another dog. They're the best dogs.
Huh.
He just loves them. I mean, I get it now. I mean, I never had a dog like him. He's so nice to everybody.
No.
Everybody is his best friend.
I know.
He just runs from one person to the next.
So
the only thing he does that I don't like is he jumps on people still, and I'm trying to get him to stop doing that. But it's just because he loves them.
Yeah, it's not malicious or anything like that. But I've always thought that if I could have the same attitude as my dog running.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm out there doing it.
Yeah. I mean, he's so happy.
Yeah.
He gets tired after maybe 5 or 6, and then he'll be like lagging back. But up until then, it's like, man, he's loving it.
So he trots with you for about 5 or 6 miles, and then he's like, this motherfucker's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, when are we going home?
Right. He doesn't have the endurance. I mean.
Do you get him water? Do you bring water with him for anything?
No, but we go to the river.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. No, but for
Is
them.
Is it good? Is it clean?
Yeah, their stomachs are not like our stomachs.
I know, obviously.
Yeah.
They're licking their balls and shit. When Marshall and I run, sometimes we run in the heat. Like sometimes, around here it gets hot as fuck. So I have one of those collapsible dog bowls, and I just put it in a backpack, and I'll bring a Hydro Flask. I bring a 64-ounce Hydro Flask, and a couple times during the run, I'll pull out that collapsible dog bowl and pour him some water, and he'll drink it, and that makes a big difference. And then I pour some on his head, rub it on his head to cool him off
just
a little bit.
Cool him down. Yeah.
Because we'll run and it's 100 degrees outside.
Oh,
and
I
he's
know.
got a lot of hair.
Oh, God, he's so thick.
Yeah.
You could get him shaved like a lion.
Yeah, like a poodle does, like they do with poodles. Yeah, when I brush him, it's ridiculous. I have a brush that I brush him with, but I also have these gloves. They're like brush gloves.
Oh, yeah.
And you're petting them, and then it's just like you have hair mitts. It just comes off.
Well,
man, if it was up to me, I'd have fucking 100 dogs.
Yeah.
I love them.
Me too. So, and that's another thing that anti-hunters don't understand.
Right.
They say, well, how come you don't kill your dog? I'm like, it's my fucking dog. What are you talking about?
My dog's a squirrel murderer, by the way. That sweet Marshall, he'll murk a squirrel.
Really?
In a fucking heartbeat. Yeah, we had to keep him from murking my daughter's rabbit. He's got real issues. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, ooh, see? That's just a hunting instinct.
Yeah, look at that.
As lovable as Marshall is.
Is that the one that says every day I have to calm the demons within? What is it? It's the circle of life. Yeah, but there's another one. There's another one.
Well, did you see the lion back behind him?
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, that's it's a painting I bought in Utah. Love it.
know, but see, that's a hunter, like different levels of hunting.
Keep that one right there. Click on that one. Scroll down so you can see the caption. Every day I must tame the demon within me. He looks so guilty.
God,
Look at his face.
does.
He looks so guilty. He's
For
like,
his
please,
thoughts.
please just open up the door.
For his
Let me
thoughts.
murk this fucking stupid rabbit.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cute.
I mean, but what's interesting is like those retrievers, they have what they call soft mouths.
Yeah.
They don't tear things apart.
Right.
They hold things gently and bring them to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Like even squirrels, when he's killed a squirrel, he'll bring me a squirrel. It's not even fucked up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's their genetics.
I mean, like Johnny Cash, my Mastiff, when he was alive, he got into my chicken coop one day. He tore a hole through the chicken coop. So, the chicken wire fence,
Yeah.
he tore it apart so he could get his body in there and went in there and he murked 8 chickens. 8 or 9 by the time I got to him.
Wow.
And my wife is screaming, "Why is Johnny in the chicken coop?" I'm like, "Johnny's in the chicken coop."
That's not good.
He tore a hole through the chicken coop. So that was a totally different experience.
Yeah.
There was no soft mouth going on there. It was just carnage. He was just
a
having a good
bloodbath.
old time killing chickens. What's up?
Bloodbath.
Did you see this?
Oh,
Or have you
Jesus.
seen this?
Jesus
The
Christ.
soft mouth you reminded me.
What is this asshole doing?
He's playing with this tiger.
Oh, it's his tiger?
And it doesn't. It looks like it's about to fuck him up, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, so where is this at?
I don't know. It's just some gif I saw going around.
Yeah,
Just a soft
man.
mouth.
That guy-
I mean, I guess if you are nice to these things and train them, you can get away with this for a little bit.
Yeah, but what happens is then that lion will probably kill that guy. I mean,
One day.
that's what
Yeah.
always. I mean, because they're still just like Marshall.
Yeah.
They still I don't know, maybe not, maybe he's whatever. But you always hear this that they had this pet whatever, and
Well, Marshall with a rabbit for sure.
Yeah.
That's how that lion is. Like if I let Marshall play with the rabbit, oh Marshall,
Yeah.
the rabbit's your friend. Then I go and take a shit and come back, just see blood and rabbit hair everywhere.
and then that guilty look on Marshall.
I couldn't take it,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah.
He was taunting me.
It's genetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know why people think it's cute to wrestle with lions and do all that crazy shit. It seems so silly to me. I mean,
They're kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
I guess.
I mean, it would. It's like animals are amazing, but don't be surprised when it fucking rips your jugular out.
Well, when we were in Thailand, you can go to these tiger sanctuaries and you can pet these tigers. And what's interesting is you would go there and we would pet the little baby ones, and they would be like really calm and tame and playful, because they're little babies, but they're super energetic. But they're not trying to hurt you. They're just playing with each other and rolling around, and they're like kittens. But then you go to the ones that are just a little older, like maybe a year old, and they're a little sketchy.
Yeah.
They're just looking around, and then there's a guy with a stick, and they're keeping you at a distance with them. Like, they don't want you getting too close to them. They worry
Right.
about they might jack you.
Yeah.
Then, when you get to the older lions, like the older tigers, the full-grown tigers, they're all drugged.
Yeah.
And it's a real bummer, man.
Yeah, I
They're all
bet.
lying there like half
that
out of
sucks.
it. And people take pictures with them, and these things are on fucking heroin, man.
That sucks.
They're just laying there, completely 100% drugged. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. They barely keep their head up, and people are smiling and putting their hands on it and taking selfies.
I don't like that.
It's weird, man.
No, I don't like that.
It's weird.
I like wild animals to be wild.
Yeah, me too. That's what's cool about them. Like, I mean, we've both experienced bears in the wild, and I've never seen a mountain lion in the wild, but I did see one in Montecito in Santa Barbara. I saw one on the street. But I mean, if I did see one, I would think it's fucking cool to
Yeah.
be in
Yeah.
the woods, like hunting, and like Dudley was 20 yards away from one.
Yeah.
Stumble across one. It's cool that they're out there.
Yeah.
You know, I love the fact that they're a real thing, but I don't want to pet them.
Yeah. No, you got to respect them.
I don't want to have nothing to do with petting.
Those
a
things are
fucking
killers.
Lion, man.
Those things are killers.
Do you see that picture we have outside now with the
Yeah.
Hollywood sign?
Yeah, I did. It's
that
amazing.
motherfucker's living in Griffiths Park.
God.
A big ass cat with giant
I
forearms.
know.
See his forearms?
Those things are killing machines.
Yeah, and he's just out there keeping the coyotes in check. And
Yeah.
murking all those deer.
So a few have died recently because of rat poison. Like
Yeah.
4 of them, I
What,
think.
lions?
Yeah.
Yeah, mountain lions, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man.
There's a lot of lions here in California.
A lot. They get a hold of the rat poison because people poison the rats, and then they eat the rats, or the coyotes eat the rats, and then they eat the coyotes, and they get that rat poison in them, and they wind
Yeah.
up dying. And another one got killed recently trying to cross the street. He was trying to cross the highway, and they think he might have been getting chased by another cat, and the cat chased him right into traffic, and bam.
They're territorial. That's why they have to keep spreading out so much, is because they won't overlap. So those males will get a certain territory, and then the younger ones have to go usually further into town.
Do you hear what happened about the woman who had a farm? She has an alpaca farm in Malibu, and a mountain lion just decided to start murking her alpacas, killed a shitload of them.
Really?
And yeah, killed like 8 of them or something crazy like that, and a goat. Killed a goat too. Didn't even eat him. Just went on a killing spree.
Nothing's going to eat a goat. Goats are terrible.
Are they really?
Yeah, I tried to. That one time back in the early 90s, Ted Nugent was playing in Eugene, and he was with the damn Yankees, and we had this place that had these feral goats down by Roseburg, and so we're like, they wanted them killed, and so Wayne asked Ted, somehow got a hold of him. Oh no, he's going to come to the bow rack because he's been bow hunting forever. It's like, hey, you want to go bow hunting goats with us? So long story short, we went down there, killed a bunch of goats. He had a concert that night, but I had a truck full of dead goats, a little Toyota 2-wheel drive, little Blue Thunder we called it. And I tried to use those goats. This is before 94, so you could bear bait still in Oregon. Tried to use them as bear bait. The bears were like, we're not eating that shit.
Bears didn't want the goats?
They would not eat the goats.
What?
No. So goats, it doesn't surprise me that the lion won't eat the goats either. So goat meat, not the best.
But they say that goats, like some cultures love goat meat.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's probably the ones that won't eat cows.
I don't know. I think they just cook it. They have ways of cooking it.
Yeah.
You know, I've never had. Well, I know I've had goat before at a Mexican restaurant. I had like goat tacos. Yeah,
Ooh.
and it was good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think if you braise it, you slow cook it with spices. You Traeger it. So like, put it on like 165 degrees for 8 hours or something like that with the right spices.
Yeah.
You can make anything taste pretty damn good.
That's what she cooked something up in bear camp this year. It was bear. I think it was loin maybe. I don't know. But anyway, cooked it for 12 or 20 hours, something crazy. God, it was so good.
Yeah,
or no, it was a back ham maybe.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah,
but
she was talking about
so
that.
good. Yeah,
she marinated it.
Yeah,
right?
people say
spices.
I'd like to see people who say, "Well, do you eat bear?" Have a plate of Jen Rivet's bear meat. My God, that's all they want.
What Ranella was talking about on his podcast, that when the pioneers came out west, they were shooting deers for their skins and bears for the meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were shooting bears for meat, black bears. That they preferred black bears for their meat. It's a delicious animal.
Oh,
People
it is.
don't know.
No,
they don't know. And they think you're lying for some reason. That you can't eat bear.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat bear. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. If Jen Rivet cooks you some bear, I defy you. I defy you if you like to eat meat. Her stir fry,
you'd have to
that
be
bear stir fry,
yeah.
That is fantastic.
You'd have to be a pathological liar to say it wasn't good.
If you don't like meat, maybe you won't like it. But if you do like meat, you'd be like, wow, this is good. I say it tastes like it's almost like a cow fucked a deer. Mm-hmm. It's like a combination of like venison and beef.
Yeah. I mean, the way she cooks it is, I think there's a typical taste of bear, or I was like, people always say who haven't had it like that, they say it's greasy because it's more like porkish kind of.
Yeah.
There's some fat in it. It's like, it's just different, but the way she does it in the Traeger or stir fry, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a really delicious animal.
Speaking of that hunt, that's what I want to get Goggins on his first hunt, just like I took you on your first bow hunt. So that's where you're
gonna take him to John and Jen's place.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Try to get a bear.
Yeah,
good first bow kill.
Has he shot a bow at all?
Yeah, I got him a bow.
Has he been shooting?
I don't know if he shot when he came and worked out with me.
He's got the best fucking Instagram stories ever.
Oh my God,
those videos.
I know. I love
Nothing
it.
ever gets done by being a bitch.
Yeah.
He said, I was reading one of his text messages he sent me yesterday. He just sends the most
a
ridiculous
new one. You showed
constantly.
me the one. You showed me one like not too long ago.
Every couple of months I get a new one.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
They wake you up too, man. They wake me
it.
up. I start doing chin-ups as soon as I get those messages.
I love his attitude. There's a few people who, I love them as people. Like, just they're good people, just hardworking. But I'm in love with their spirit. It's like his spirit, Jocko's spirit, Courtney's spirit, their spirit. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's like one of those guys that it's never going to waver.
Right.
You know what you're going to get.
You get inspiration from it. I do. I get fuel from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just even having the chance to train with him, it's like, man, just feel lucky to see him in action and see him change from David to Goggins.
Right.
And it
it's like
happened.
he becomes the Hulk.
Oh my God, it happened. I watched it and it's like, I thought, well, maybe this was just kind of like a, whatever, maybe just a thing, but it was real. It's like when shit got hard, he got into this different zone and it was like, he got better. Got
Really?
tougher. Yeah, he did. It was like.
So what'd you guys do? You ran like 30 miles.
Yeah, 35.
35 miles.
Yeah.
And then you went back and lifted.
Yeah, and we shot bows too, but all that same day. But during that race, it was kind of cold and snowy. I think it was spitting snow, but rainy. It was soaking wet. And I remember like at mile 22, something was happening with his feet and he had to take his shoes off and untie his shoes. And it's like, normally that's not a good sign. I mean, if people are messing with their shoes 22 miles into 30, it's like, God, this is not, because your feet are going to get torn up.
Right.
So it's like, you just kind of, your feet, they could be bleeding, torn up. It's like, yeah, this is what happens. Just gonna keep, and he's done a lot. So I'm like, man, I don't know. I said, I'm just gonna kind of keep chugging along and get it figured out and catch up, and we'll go from there. And I thought, man, there's a chance that maybe I won't see him again. But no, sure as shit, here he comes. He catches back up. Me and my brother were up there, and he went from 22. He got in this different groove, and then my calf on this race kind of locked up, and it's like going up this last grade, we had to do one more summit, and I couldn't run it. And I'm like, he took off. I was just kind of power hiking it, and I get up there and I had a cameraman up there, and David was like, he was in his Goggins mode by that time. This was towards the end of the race. We had like 2 miles left. It's like 33 miles in. And I asked a cameraman up there, I'm like, hey, I said, how did Goggins look? And he's like, well, he had his shirt off and it was cold rain. He's had his shirt off and he was saying, they don't fucking know me. I'm like, who is he? He's like, they don't know me, son. And saying all this stuff. I said, who was he saying that to? And he's like, there's nobody up here.
So he has like imaginary enemies that he's fighting against.
And that's real. And so he did, and he got better, and he freaking just crushed the second half of that race. And same thing happened lifting. He the more reps we did, the better he got. And at the end, when we had done so many reps, and we did this one last thing of doing, we did 95 reps 100 reps of right there on that incline bench. Is only 95 pounds, but we had done 600 reps before. He ended up on the last set, did more than he did on the first set.
That's insane.
Yeah. And that's when he starts yelling right here somewhere. And it
Give
makes
me some volume.
15, shut that muscle down. 16, come on. Get it. 17. They don't know me, son. Get it. 18. They don't know me, son. Get it. 19. They don't know me, son. Yeah. 20, you got some more in you. 21. Yeah, get it again. Come on, we want to see it. Good. 22. Who's going to carry the boats and the logs? That's you, buddy. Come on, 23. Come on, 24. One more, David.
What the fuck?
One more to carry the boats. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it.
God.
You did it. Yeah. Who's going to carry the fucking boats?
So this is at International Fitness, just a regular gym. And people were like,
what the hell?
What is this guy? And he got into that zone. And it's like, so whatever he says about he was David, that he was Goggins, when he gets to Goggins, dude, look out. It's like it's a different person that's unstoppable.
It's real.
It's real.
It's real.
I saw it, and he's like, it's amazing.
Well, that's how he broke the world chin-up record.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be a complete psychopath to be able to do chin-ups for 24 hours a day.
And then, so we went after that, and we went and watched UFC, got pizza, and it was getting late by that time. So we'd run 35 miles. We shot bows. We lifted weights. Pretty full day. Ate pizza. Had a couple chocolate chip cookies. Watched UFC. Pretty good night. And then so he's like, yeah. He goes, I got to get back to my hotel. I still got to stretch. A couple hours of stretching. And my wife goes, oh, you're not going to stretch. You can miss stretching tonight. It's like, what are you talking about? Have David Goggins miss stretching? That's like, take the night off.
Right.
No.
So he does some hardcore stretching.
And he does for hours.
Yeah.
And then that's just kind of his routine. And then he got up the next day and from his hotel ran 15 miles. So people can say whatever they want. The dude is as real as they get and a complete savage. 100%. It's like you can say whatever you want because on Instagram, you never know if what you see is what you get. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's real. There's no way he could be doing it as long as he's doing it without someone would expose him.
Yeah.
Or he would expose himself.
Yeah.
Well, that's the real deal, and that's why it's so special. That's why it's so inspirational.
Yeah.
Is because that's all mental strength, and he's all super honest about how he used to be. He's like, my brain was soft. I was soft.
It's helped me because I've thought that I'm like, when I get tired, I mean, I take inspiration from a lot of people, but it's like, I'm like, God, I need to have a little piece of Goggins, to get in that. It's got to be mental. It's like he just puts himself there, and he struggles, but then gets to this next level, and it's like how? He just makes himself go there.
He also has figured out now how to maintain his body, which is very important.
Yeah.
That's why he's into that stretching because he's had some pretty significant muscle issues in the past. His psoas muscle, locked up on him.
Yeah.
But now he realizes there's a maintenance involved too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to treat that thing like a vehicle.
Right.
You got to take care of that vehicle.
Yeah, he does. And it was like, I'll never forget sharing that day with him. Never. I mean, it changed my life. Swear to God. I mean, David Goggins, it's like people follow him and they're just like, I feel like it's like another blessing I don't really deserve just to be able to, who wouldn't want to work out with Goggins?
You always talk like that and it drives me crazy. All this, I don't deserve shit.
I don't.
That's the one thing I hate about you. Drives me nuts.
I don't.
You always say like we were talking about that. You always feel like you don't even deserve to be at these camps with all these great hunters.
I think somebody eventually is going to say, "What the fuck? What is this guy doing here?" And I'll be like, "Well, they figured it out. It was a good run."
That's called imposter syndrome.
I don't know. I just don't feel like. I mean, I see you guys. I see you Goggins, Jocko, and I see those, and that's who everybody. It's like you can change people's lives, and I feel like pretty soon they're going to go, "Why is this guy here?"
Yeah, yeah. But that's how I feel about everything. But I just don't express it.
But you don't hate yourself for that?
No, I don't hate myself for that.
But you hate me.
Well,
Okay.
you say it too
That's
much.
cool.
It drives me nuts because I admire what you do. So it drives me crazy because you've taught me
But
so
you
much
feel the
about
same.
bow hunting. Well, I feel the same. I used to feel the same about everything. It's called imposter syndrome.
What's that mean?
And it when people have very high standards, when people work hard and they have very high standards and then they become successful, they feel like an imposter. They feel like there's no way because you're always wanting better and more. And as I've become famous and become friends with other famous people, when I meet them, I was out at a restaurant the other night, and me and my wife were having dinner, and Jamie Foxx came in, and he comes up to me and gives me a big hug, and I'm always like, why does he like me? He's not supposed to like me.
Yeah.
But it weirds me out that he even knows who I am. He's
Yeah.
like, you got to meet my friend. He's a huge fan of yours. I'm like, what? I don't have any fans. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He says, you're Jamie Foxx. This is nuts just talking to you.
Yeah.
And then he brings me over to his friend. I always feel like an imposter.
Right.
I feel like an imposter when we did that show in Portland, when you came to the show,
Yeah.
I'm about to go on stage. It's a fucking sold out arena.
That's
And I
amazing.
still feel like an imposter as they're bringing me up. I'm like, this is so crazy.
It's amazing.
Feels
Okay,
fake.
so you get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
But it's just because I have a very high standard and I work really hard and I'm never satisfied.
Yeah.
So even though I know that I can do it, I do it every night.
Yeah.
I do stand up every night.
Right.
I know. I practice hard. I work hard. I write hard. I constantly do sets. Even though I'm like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Still, to this day.
Well,
You know?
I get it. I mean, just today, people sent me a text. Hey, I sent this to Joe must have changed his number. Can you see
Yes,
if you
I
can
did.
get me on the
Woo!
podcast? And it's just like, so I hear like that, and I hear like, so what's Joe like? So what's it like to do? And it's just like, I don't know. However, I don't know how other famous people are, but how you are is like, all I ever say is like, he's the most generous, supportive person I've ever met. So however you're doing it, you've been a good, it's just somebody good to emulate, I think.
Well, I would say the same about you, man. It means a lot to me to be your friend and to learn bow hunting from you. To me, it's like, if you want to learn something, what you want to learn is from someone who really understands it and really hasn't mastered it and spent a lifetime doing it. So for me, like, you've cut probably decades off my learning curve of learning bow hunting and be able to learn. I mean, all those different things that we did to get close to those different bulls was all because of your years and years of experience. And of course, Colton helped us as well. He's a great guide and very knowledgeable hunter. But, even he defers to you because you have so much experience. So to me, that it's just to have a guy like you out there that's such a great role model, that does it all the right way and works so hard. I mean, to learn from you has been gigantic. You go out to that wall out there and see all those elk heads. That's all because of you, man. Oh. I mean, it would have never happened. I would have never been able to do it. I definitely wouldn't have been able to be this successful this early,
Well, yeah, I mean, you've been, whatever position you've been put in, you've made the most of it. That's what I say. So a lot of people have been put in fortuitous situations that screw it up or don't make the most, but because of your work ethic, you've made that 67-yard shot, which isn't easy for anybody. In crunch time, you made that to perfection. So that's you. I mean, getting there, maybe whatever could have played a role in that, but executing, God, it was so beautiful. It was like seeing you kill that bull was definitely better. Like when I kill, I'm just like, well, just did what I do. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm like, you have to be controlled. And like, you were even pretty controlled. I wasn't controlled in that moment. I was so happy and so, I don't know what, just caught up in the moment. It was beautiful to see. I said it was one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen, and that's true. But it's just like, just to see that and have you be successful, it's like, God, it means everything. It means
amazing. Everything to me too, man. It does. And to be able to do it with you, like I said in the video, it does. It means the world to me that I could do that, with being your student and being able to learn from you, and then to be able to execute like that in crunch time.
Oh, it was perfect.
Perfect. I mean, and now we fucked up, and a lot of people are going to be in the woods bow hunting now.
I know,
but I hope they get something out of it, man. I really hope people feel what we feel and get that. And then when you're eating it, you'll get that feeling that it's completely incomparable. There's nothing like it in terms of like eating a meal from an animal that you tracked down and hunted yourself and shot yourself. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Hey, did you you were at the Comedy Store last night?
Yeah.
Are you there tonight?
Yep.
You are?
Yeah, tonight too. Yeah.
I get to go.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I set up a show just because I knew you were going to be here.
Well, I thought I saw you there you were there last night, and I'm like, oh shit, I wonder if that was it.
No. I'm there multiple nights, but I'm there. I was there I had 2 shows there last night, and then I had a show at the Improv too.
Oh, nice.
That's the beautiful thing about being in LA is I can grind it out. I could do multiple shows a night. I'll do different plays. I'll do like 2 shows at the store, and then I'll do 2 shows at the Improv. I do it all the time. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's amazing. Like LA for comedy, it's like the Deseret of comedy.
Was Chris and Callan there last night? Where was that
Chris
at?
and Callan, yeah, they were at the store.
Oh.
And then I left them when I went over to the Improv. And
Did
then
you
at the
see that
Improv was
video?
Ian Edwards. Yeah. Ridiculous. Callan was roaring like a dragon.
Yes. Oh my god.
Those guys are so silly.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
The Comedy Store, you've never been, right?
No, I've never
That's
been.
Mecca. You're going to come to Mecca tonight.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's comedy Mecca. There's no place like it on earth. And tonight it'll be mob. Joey Diaz will probably be down there tonight. It'll be incredible.
This day has been like, I figure if I can die after today, I'm good. Because it's like everything that's happened, then I get to go to the store. It's like, man.
Now, what is this GQ thing you did today?
It was just so they had me breaking down like archery in movies. So I did Hunger Games. And they filmed my reaction and got me like talking about if it's realistic. So I did Jeremy Renner. I did Robert De Niro. He was in some terrible movie. And I don't even think I was kind of surprised he was actually hunting with a bow in the movie.
What movie was that?
I don't
was
know.
that a movie with him and
John Travolta?
Yes.
Yes.
And they had a fight.
Yeah.
And John Travolta played like a Russian.
John Travolta shot an arrow at him. So
God.
Robert De Niro was in a tree stand. John Travolta shot and it stuck in the tree. Robert De Niro fell out of the tree and broke his bow. And so then he like started crawling towards John Travolta for some reason. Anyway, they had me, but Robert De Niro actually had a pretty good anchor. I mean, he looked pretty good with the bow.
Really?
He had a whisker biscuit on there, which wasn't good for the rest. But he was going to shoot this bull. Like this 5-point bull came out, and he couldn't do it. He I don't know what happened. He hesitated. Then
He felt bad?
Something like that. I don't know what happened.
Let me see this, Jamie.
Do you have it?
Killing season.
Yes. It's pretty intense.
That's not bad.
No, that's not it.
I don't like that grip.
He had a compound bow.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's a different one?
There you go.
Yeah, right there.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey. He looks like, look at him.
I know. Yeah, so
I like how he's wearing flannel, too. He went old school.
his radio went off and it spooked the bull, but he jumped out and broke that bow. Yeah. So I did that
So
one.
him and John Travolta were shooting arrows at each other?
Yeah.
How dumb was the movie? Did you get a chance?
It was terrible. It was
Apparently the new Rambo is unbelievably bad.
Yeah, we did Rambo too because I said, we have to do Rambo. I want to talk about when do you remember when he had the exploding tip and he shot the guy?
Yes.
That was awesome.
Why is he upside down?
He got caught in a trap.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Look at John Travolta's beard. Oh,
No.
Jesus.
He's Russian.
Yeah. How bad is his accent?
Oh, no.
Is it atrocious?
I'm sure.
Killing season. What is it to get on Rotten Tomatoes? Go to Rotten Tomatoes.
1.
I want to see a 3. What does it get? Please tell me it's like 13.
10%.
10. That's
10.
impressive.
That's pretty low.
That's pretty high.
Well,
Should
yeah.
be a lot lower than that. Look at him. Hey, what happened? Oh no.
You shot me.
Let me get up. He's trying to get up. What is he doing?
Oh,
Oh, he hurt his ankle?
no, he took one to the calf.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, looks
An
like.
arrow?
I think. I don't know.
Just wanted to hear his voice. I was hoping he was going to be right there.
Oh boy. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's very few movies that depict bow hunting correctly.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
What is this? He's holding him. He's got the arrow there. You attack him before he draws.
Running around hiding.
Just shoot me. Just shoot me. Come on.
You hear listen to the Russian.
Shoot the shit.
Oh boy. Pull this. Stop that right now. I cannot. I can't do this. That's no.
The best form I saw in any of the movies that I reviewed for him today was, I think it's called Brave. It was an animated movie.
Oh, yeah.
And the redheaded girl.
Not bad.
She actually had perfect form.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, let me see that. Is there a movie though where someone bow hunts correctly? I mean, is there one movie?
Yeah, right here.
Let me see her.
Like, watch her form. When she...
Oh, here, they're teaching her how to shoot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but you'll see her. She steps up there, and it's a confidence.
Ah, the confidence.
The confidence. So you know she's going to put it on the X. You know, here watch this confidence. And the attitude. See that? She's pretty bossy.
My kids did not like this movie.
They watch this.
For some weird movie. For some
no.
weird reason.
It's her. She needs her dress is too tight. See that?
Uh-huh.
Back, son. Now watch this. On the move.
That's pretty good.
I know, but watch this last one. This one's...
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Right here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Look at this. Watch this form. And this is with a broadhead. With distractions, she's so focused. The feather cut her face a little for some reason.
Oh, I like how the arrow's
I know.
wiggling like a real arrow.
I know, but watch this.
Oh. Oh.
Look at this.
Oh, she Robin Hoods it.
I know.
Pretty damn impressive.
See that? That's what I say. All the ones that I reviewed today,
That's the best.
that's the best.
Yeah, look at her release.
I know. See that follow through?
Yeah, follow through is excellent. Very sweet. But there's no movie where bow hunting
No.
is accurately depicted.
I don't
no
think so.
movie.
No.
I'm trying to think of a movie that even involves bow hunting. Can you think of one?
No, not bow hunting.
No, I mean there's Deliverance, where he winds up hunting people. Remember?
Yeah,
Burt Reynolds winds up
I
jacking
wanted to
people
do
with a
that
compound
one,
bow.
but they didn't have that today. They had Walking Dead. They had.
That's
like-
ridiculous that they call that a bow. That's a shitty gun.
That's what I said. I said I'm not down with the crossbow. and you got a rotten corpse head, and it's stopping an arrow.
It's not a pass through.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah, it sticks in their head.
Where's
Here's
this,
one.
Jamie?
I don't know how we missed this, but Samuel L. Jackson plays in a movie called Big Game, where I think he might have been Secret Service protecting the president. Either way, the plane crashes or something, and he ends up with a kid and learning how to bow hunt to survive.
Oh, really?
Really?
It came out 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, this shit must have went straight to video.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
look
never
fantastic,
heard of it.
but
I want to.
They bow hunt to survive.
I mean,
now he's getting in a fight.
yeah, I typed in bow hunting movies, and this was the most recent one, I think.
Oh, that's hilarious. And he jumps on a helicopter.
I don't know. I mean, there's one.
Oh
There's
my
one
God.
for you.
Stop that before I get brain damage.
Yeah,
But isn't it interesting? Like you would think that there would be a way to make a movie that involves bow hunting that would be interesting.
You'd think so.
Yeah, like the movie. Like there's only a couple good pool movies. It's like
Yeah.
The Hustler with Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, and then The Color Money with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
The Color Money changed pool. Like when that movie came out in 1986, it just literally pool exploded. The same as in the 1960s when The Hustler came out.
Okay.
Pool exploded.
Yeah.
So pool had two like giant explosions where people really started going to pool halls. They wanted to learn how to play pool good. And then with the Hunger Games, apparently a lot of people got into archery because of Jennifer Lawrence. We got a beautiful woman shooting
Yeah.
a bow,
That's what I said. I go, you
looking like a badass.
Yeah, the confidence is a key, but and she's hot.
She's hot.
And then she's got a bow. It's like 10
Both
times
those things are
hotter.
good. Both those things are good.
So, yeah, what was good with her was she could go from having the bow to grabbing an arrow to putting it on the string to shooting in like half a second.
Yeah.
And just over.
Wow.
I go, that's not easy to do.
Well, she must have had some serious training just to be able to pull that off on film.
Yeah, I think she shot a Hoyt, and I think she took lessons from a Hoyt shooter.
Ah.
And same thing with even Rambo's old bow, I believe, was a Hoyt.
Really?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I know. But yeah, he had the exploding tip, and the bad guy was shooting, ran out of bullets with his gun, threw it down, pulled his pistol out, and was shooting at Rambo, and Rambo just stood up there just like, you're not going to hit me.
Oh, here she is
Yeah.
learning how to shoot.
Right.
Well, that's not her. I guess that's her coach teaching the reporter.
Oh, so this is the woman who coached Jennifer
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to see Jennifer Lawrence one. I don't even know this chick.
That's what I thought it was.
Fuck out of here with this.
Yeah.
But that did get a lot of people involved in
It
archery.
did, girls especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, young girls.
Apparently, what is her name? Gina Davis. Gina
Yeah.
Davis is a big time archer. She loves it.
She shoots, yeah.
She shoots
I've
like
seen that.
competitions, right? Doesn't she?
I think so.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
she's done some target competitions.
Yeah. And Ivanka Trump.
Does she?
I saw her with a bow before.
Well, obviously, Donald Jr. is the biggest one in the family.
Yeah,
I mean, Donald
yeah.
Jr. is a legit bow hunter.
Yeah.
He shot a giant bull in Colorado this year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. He sent it to Dudley. He sent a picture of it to Dudley.
Oh,
Dudley showed
man.
it to me on his phone.
Really?
Big ass bull. Yeah.
God, I didn't see that. I
Yeah, he
want to
shot
see
it. It's
it.
a great bull. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, he's a legit bow hunter. I mean, that guy loves bow hunting. He hunts a lot.
Yeah. No, he's definitely avid outdoorsman. I mean, he's always putting up stuff and with
He
his
learned a
kids
lot from
especially.
Dudley, too.
Did he?
Yeah, Dudley taught him quite a bit. Gave him quite a bit of training.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's not a single movie where someone goes bow hunting. Like
There
you would
should
think that could be. I mean, that could be a good movie.
Gina
Is that Gina
Davis.
Yeah,
Davis?
she tried
Look
out
at
for the
her.
Olympic team.
Oh shit! Oh, she's
2000.
shooting a Olympic recurve.
Yeah.
She tried out for the Olympic team.
Yeah, finished 24th out of 300 women.
Not bad.
Yeah. Those in the Olympics, it's no compound. It's bows just like that.
Wow.
I think it's 70 meters, and they put them in there.
Wow.
But you didn't find any of.
Look at her. She looks
Yeah.
fucking super legit. Look at her form,
I know.
her grip hand, everything.
Yeah, they are such good shooters. It's amazing how good they get.
Yeah, with tabs. I mean, it's crazy. Like you're shooting off your fingers.
Yeah.
And you're shooting really accurately. Is she still doing it?
That's what I was looking up. They made a video with her on Funny or Die.
Let me see that video. Archery tricks. Is this it?
It's jokey, so I don't know how much of it is real. Or it's for Funny or Die, so I don't know what the context was. It's a couple years old.
She's got a gun too.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her. So it's just.
She's
Oh,
doing
so you
like
don't actually get
it's-
to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Okay, they're just
Straight up.
being silly.
Yeah.
So
But
you
look at
did,
her form. There's her form. Yeah, look at that.
we never saw Jennifer Lawrence practicing.
That's that video.
She's practicing hiding.
I know. I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously has got to have a lot of training the way
Yeah.
she executes. You know?
Yeah.
It seems because, like, when you see Keanu Reeves in John Wick, you're like, okay, that guy had some fucking
Yeah,
training.
shooting.
100%.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like I just started doing that recently at the same place where he learned.
Oh, right.
It's fucking hard as shit.
I saw that.
It's hard, man.
Really?
It's another thing that you're going to get obsessed with because it's just so technical. There's so much technique involved in it.
Was that part of your Sober October?
Yeah, we're doing a bunch of different classes, all sorts of different shit.
That's cool.
It's fun, man. But
Well,
it's
Speaking of famous people hunting, how about Scott Eastwood on his bull?
how about Scott Eastwood? First ever bull.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like
First day in camp. He was the first guy to kill. Yeah.
I know. Made a hell of a shot.
Hell of a
55
shot.
yards.
He's a great guy too.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, when we did that podcast with him, we got to know him, and he's just a sweetheart of a guy. That's how he is all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Super friendly guy.
Yep.
And boy, was he beaming. He came back to camp, first guy to kill, big smile on his face.
Heck
so
yeah.
the rest of the days he was at camp, he was just smiling.
I know.
Just so
Yeah.
happy.
I
He
know
got
it.
his bull, and a nice bull too.
Oh, heck yeah. That was
Yeah.
a big bull. Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, we've hunted with Chris Pratt, Jocko, Andy
Yeah.
Stump. I mean, we've had
Incredible.
We've had some great times.
I can't, and Andy's bull. You see that video?
Yeah,
Came
it's
in
amazing.
3 or 4 yards
Yeah.
or whatever.
And then luckily they got it to stop at
I
like
know.
18 or 20, whatever it was. But
And
I
that's-
thought,
Another crunch time, like coming through in crunch time.
last day.
I know. I know
He
it.
had very few opportunities. He just, bow hunting is hard. I
Yeah.
mean, I always have, the last 3 years, I've scheduled 2 bow hunts a year.
Yeah.
Because 2 elk hunts a year, because I keep thinking I'm not going to be successful.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up short.
Odds are,
and then
yeah.
I'll at least get, maybe I'll have 2 opportunities for the second hunt, and I'll be able to get a second bull.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So it's
You've
been,
made the
I've
most
been
of it.
lucky as shit.
I know. Now you got one next week.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's an interesting thing, the camaraderie in camp too, because like those kind of camps, like we had 2 weeks ago in Utah, it's like we got a group of some of the best people I know, and
Yeah.
everyone's hanging out, and just some of the nicest, friendliest people, and especially early in the week, everybody's on the grind. Man.
I know.
Everybody's on the
Yeah,
grind.
it's all business.
Yeah, it's serious
Yeah.
fucking business.
Yeah. I had to leave. I had to leave an elk hunt to come there.
That's
and
right.
it was still
Yeah.
worth it. It was like it was so fun. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to miss this camp.
It was
You
cool
know?
to meet Levi Morgan too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a really nice guy, and
Oh, I
I've watched
know.
his television show before, and he's another one, just an elite world champion archer.
Yeah, it's just like anytime. I always feel lucky to be able to rub elbows with people like that at that level, and just feel like I don't know, and just talk with them. It's just like, man, that was amazing.
To be able to show Levi Morgan that shot that you filmed, that was fucking beautiful too.
Yeah,
know?
that was fun.
It's just so cool to be in that camp because, it's everybody in that group they all get it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's obsessed with the same thing. Everybody's obsessed with success in bow hunting. And here we are, the 1 week that everybody looks forward to most on earth.
Yeah.
All year long, you look forward to this 1 week on earth. This is the rut in Utah. During
It's
elk
incredible.
season, when there was no moon, so they're going off.
Oh, couldn't have been better.
Couldn't have been better.
Timed.
They were fucking, and Dudley's into that moon shit, man. He'll tell you about moon phases
Yeah.
and this and that, and he writes articles about it.
Yeah.
So he was like, "This week is gonna be amazing,"
And it was.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Those bulls went crazy. I was watching that clip the other day. Like I said, I watched when Colton pulled out that tenderloin, but I also watched that first. I thought the bull was going to be dead. 55 yards. We're under that spruce tree.
Oh yeah.
And that was a big bull standing out there. Oh, it was so close.
So close.
So close.
When I drew back, he was looking right at me, and he was
Yeah.
"Fuck this."
I know. But reliving those moments,
Yeah.
I'm so thankful we have the phones and the
Yeah.
video. And it's just like,
Crazy how good the video is too.
I know.
It's just amazing.
a phone, this freaking phone filming your kill shot.
Yeah.
And it's like clear as day.
Crystal clear, 4K,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. It's
I can almost watch it too much. I mean, I got to stay in the moment.
yeah.
No,
it's pretty special to be able to see it though.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
that one we did for Under Armour.
Yeah.
I've watched that video at least 100 times.
Have you?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, it's
that shot through the trees.
a great video.
Yeah.
This one I like just because you can actually see that arrow kind of tracking.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in and it tracks and just hits money.
Yeah. No, that's better for sure. That was
Yeah.
better. The other one was like, I was shooting through a hole.
Yeah.
I had to like thread the needle.
Yeah.
And punch it through that hole in the
And
trees.
you did.
Yeah. But being able to execute during crunch time, it's so fucking satisfying. That's what gets me up and makes me practice hours and hours.
And it's just like you feel you did what you were supposed to do, and it's just like there's pressure because there's pressure, like you're like carrying this pressure, and then it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone
Yeah.
for a second.
For a second. And then the pressure is you got to be able to do it again next
I know.
time. So you can't rest on your laurels.
Because it never gets easier.
No, never gets easier.
It's like you
Never
can,
gets easier.
Success is fleeting. You got to keep grinding, and it's like one failure seemingly wipes out years of success. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
yeah.
screw up one time, and you're just like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
devastating. Like I said, it's like it can be soul crushing.
Well, you're only as good as your last execution of whatever you're trying to do, whether it's your last comedy show, your last bow hunt, your last arrow you released. You're only as good as that. If you release a bad arrow and you hit a deer in the ass, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then your head is like, that's what I do.
I know.
shoot deers in the ass.
Yeah.
And then they run away and
you forget everything else.
Yeah. You can't. But that's also what makes me practice so much.
Yeah.
It's like I don't ever want to feel that.
It's like one of those things you have to be obsessed.
Yeah.
You're gonna be mediocre unless you're obsessed.
Yeah, I think bow hunting is a very strange thing because it's not just hunting. It's an athletic pursuit. It's a discipline, and it requires so much. Like, when I was at Terran Tactical the other day, I was shooting rifles, and I didn't miss once. It was like clink,
Yeah.
clink, clink. It's just, I'm on a bench,
Yeah.
just trigger discipline, pull, let a surprise release go off.
Right.
It's you hunting like that is difficult, but it's not comparable. There's nothing like bow hunting. It's the most difficult, but also the most satisfying.
Yeah.
And I hate to use the term because it's such an overused term, but it's a spiritual pursuit.
It is.
There's something very spiritual about bow hunting, and it's when that shot landed, and that's one of the things that happens. Like our spirits are uplifted. Like,
Yeah.
we did it. Like
know.
the grind is over for this one day, for this one moment. We did it, And it always feels the same thing to me. After it's over and after the animal's down and, after we're thankful, it never feels real. It's like, is this real? Did this really happen?
Yeah.
Did I really
you
shoot
said
this
that.
thing? It never feels
know.
real. It always feels like that. Last year when I shot that giant one at Tejon Ranch, same thing. Didn't feel real. I'm like
Really?
standing over that thing. It's like, this real? It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
It just feels strange.
Is it why? What? I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I'm crazy, probably. It's like I don't ever even when things go well for me, there's a part of my brain, and I think this is because I've been obsessed with so many different things, and I kind of understand my own pitfalls and the only traps that I can fall into. So anytime anything happens that's great, even if it's fucking amazing, like, it feels good for a little bit, and then almost immediately afterwards, I think, you better get back to work, bitch. Better get back to work.
Yeah.
Because you can't start thinking you're awesome now.
Right,
You can't get confused.
Right.
That's why I always say, like, when someone asked me once, like, what's the secret to your success? Like, one of the big secrets is I'm not a fan of me.
Right.
I'm not I don't think I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that impressed with me.
Right.
So I know what I
Exactly.
need to do to be successful, and then I'm the guy who's telling me, get out, get up, go,
Yeah.
go, do it. So anytime anything happens, it's great. I'm like, settle down, bitch.
That's exactly how I feel.
I think you have to feel like
Exactly
that.
how I feel.
Alexander Gustafsson was talking about that once, and he was talking about the mindset that you have to be an elite professional athlete. Like, you're never satisfied. There's no way.
Yeah.
And I think anything that's difficult pursuits, whether it's stand-up comedy or whether it's bow hunting or even ultra marathon running, it's like no matter what you do that's hard to do, once it's over, you better not enjoy it for too long.
No.
You better get back to work.
Back to work. Get
You
back
have
on
to.
that horse. I know.
You're going to always feel that good feeling if you think about it at all. Like, I always have that video. I always feel that good feeling. If I want to feel good, I'll watch that shot.
Yeah.
But don't think about it too much.
No.
You better get back to work.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel. It's like it's so hard to get, and it's just then it's gone.
Yeah.
And because you got to prove it every time.
But the real fun is in the struggle. And that's what's hard for people to get their head around.
It's the struggle, but then not winning, but succeeding.
Yeah.
And that's what you that's what you see in that video.
Yeah.
Because the struggle is so evident. And then the success, and it's just like, oh my God, this feels like almost surreal and just amazing. But then it's like, God, I want to feel that again.
Yep.
But I got to earn it.
You got to earn it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give a fuck who you are. I mean, it's one of the things that I love about archery. It's the same thing I like about pool. It's the same thing I like about a lot of things that are absolute. Like when pool, the ball either goes in the hole or it doesn't. That ball doesn't give a fuck who you are.
No.
It doesn't give a shit. The same
It's
thing
animals.
with arrows being released. If you don't hit it right,
Yeah.
you don't release it right, you don't aim perfect.
You can be the best in the world.
and fuck up.
You screw up a shot.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And the animals don't. They're not cutting anybody a break.
Right.
They're wild animals in the mountains, and you just got to. I mean, it's tough, but it is. When you mention spiritual endeavor, I remember when I was in San Carlos this year. This is native land, and it's very special for me to hunt there with it's Apache tribe there, and I remember I was standing on top of this ridge. And the wind was coming through there, and it felt like I told the guys there this too, that it felt like the wind was moaning. Like there's so much. I don't know if it's emotion. I don't know if there's life in there, but it felt different. And it's like, when are you ever going to be in a situation where you're going to be so in tune where it feels like that? And
Right.
that's with the bow in. I don't know.
Well, I think something about San Carlos too, when you know that this is Indian land, it's got like a special feeling connected to it.
For me, it did. Yeah, it was like, and I come to find out that in that canyon there, there's these caves down there that there's a mummified body in there apparently, and there's 3 different levels to the cave. There's arrows in there. There's
To this day?
right now. Right. Yeah. That was the story I told. About a mile down from where I said it sounded like the wind was moaning.
Fuck, why didn't you go there?
Apparently they have it barred up now because there's people who steal artifacts. We're getting in there. So
God, I want to look at least.
I know. Amazing. But the history of that land. So
I just seen an old arrow. You find an arrow with a broadhead on the ground from hundreds of years ago.
Wouldn't that be that'd be incredible.
Fuck.
It'd be incredible.
I found a broadhead, a little flint broadhead in Nevada.
Yeah.
But I don't know of anybody that's ever found one with an arrow.
Yeah, apparently there's 25 or 27 arrows in there.
Whoa.
I know. Incredible. So it's like
take a picture.
there is definitely a connection, and then it just feels different to me there. And it's just like I feel so much I feel honored to hunt there with the Apache, the guys from the reservation.
That's also a place where very few people get to be. So you know that when you're there, you're sharing the land with very few people. So you got to feel like super lucky.
I do.
Just be.
I never thought I'd ever be. I mean, everybody knows there's giant bulls there. How could I ever be the guy who gets to hunt there? It's like never thought that would happen. But
the bull you shot there this year is insane.
Yeah.
They're so big.
It's a big old bull. Like the hardest part with that hunt is like you could go there, you could kill a bull. If you just wanted to kill a bull, you could make it happen. But killing a big old bull is hard.
That's the hardest.
That's hard anywhere. Yeah. But there it's and then if you're killing an old bull there, it's going to be giant. I mean, they're just special animals. Incredible.
Now, this is because there's supposed to be two different kinds of elk, right? That there was a Rocky Mountain elk and a Yellowstone elk.
That's what I've heard.
What is that gentleman's name that he hunts at the Deseret and he also hunts down there?
Oh, Steve Johnson.
Yes. Yeah. He was explaining this to me.
Yeah.
That there's the Yellowstone elk was a larger breed of elk.
It makes sense. They're
they
giant.
Larger antlers, and you see them in the Gila. You see them in New Mexico, and that area in particular in San Carlos has a bunch of those elk.
Yeah, well.
They also think that that's what's in Tejon Ranch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why they're so big.
Well, those are giant too.
Yeah, it's also they don't have a winter like they do in the mountains of like Utah or Colorado or something like that.
Yeah, where they got to survive the winter months.
I'm gonna take my wife and kids next year. I want them just to experience the rut. I want them to come with me
hear the
and
bulls?
just to hear it, just because it's so, and just see them.
Where?
I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll take them with me to Utah and I'll take a day off hunting.
Yeah.
And just
have them out there.
Go with me.
Yeah.
Just come with me. I just want you guys to experience it.
It's like when we were heading into that timber, like where that first bull was in the shadows. I mean, those sound. That's where I did the video.
Yeah.
It sounded like monsters down there.
Demons. Yeah. Well, we were saying, imagine being the pioneers, and you got there maybe in fucking June or something like that, and everything's quiet.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, you hear.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It must have taken a while before they realized it was the elk that were doing that.
It was. I mean, and it sounded like. They were so loud. It sounded like we should have seen them way before we did.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, they were so far away.
I mean, it sounds like they're right there, but it's just because it's so loud and
the echo through the canyons.
Oh God, it was so fun.
I would give anything to have seen what it must have been like to have crossed America back in the Lewis and Clark days when it was totally undeveloped, and you just run into the tribes of Native Americans. I would just love to see what it was actually like when the wildlife was undisturbed, and you'd have these massive herds of buffalo and deer were everywhere and elk were everywhere. They said when those expeditions came across America, they could hunt anything. There's animals everywhere. It was just a plethora.
And the market hunting is what killed that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's where we've come back from now. And now, as they say, there's more big game animals now than there was 100 years ago, which would be after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been amazing to see what it looked like, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of that's why you go over the next ridge.
Yeah.
Every time. You're
like,
let's keep going. I mean, that morning, it's the morning I killed. But yeah, it's like over the next ridge, kept us going. It sounded like there's bull's going crazy over the next ridge. Finally.
Well, that shot that you guys got too of that bull coming up to you, and coming screaming up the hill, that big
so
old
beautiful.
bull, man.
Yeah, 10 yards.
That's so crazy.
Stopped him.
That close to such an enormous animal too.
Yeah. No, and that was Rihanna did a great job filming that.
She really did. Yeah,
she did.
And then her video that she showed us of that giant elk
bull.
that she shot, and that was a public land bull.
Yeah,
that's a big bull, man.
I know, big old giant thing.
And the footage where she's on her knees and this thing is like coming by her, like it looked like it was like 15, 16 yards. It was really close, right?
Yeah, and she shot mid bugle, whack.
Yeah.
Oh, just so happy for her, because like I told her, there's not many women I know of that have went on public land and killed bulls like that with a bow. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Right.
I mean, it was an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, it's like another degree harder than it is for men, because just the physical difficulty, the strength that you have to be able to maneuver your way through the woods like that, especially
with
her.
A pack.
I mean, she packed it out too, so she's got 100 pounds on her back. A lot of guys can't do that.
Yeah, then she's worked up to be able to shoot 60 pounds with her bow.
That's very impressive for a girl.
Yeah. She's strong. She works hard. She's got a great attitude, and man, I loved seeing her be successful.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see someone who's legitimately dedicated to it, because we've talked about this before. There's things that are happening right now where people are getting into certain activities when you're a woman because it gets you a lot of attention. Because if you're a hot woman and you shoot a gun in a bikini, a lot of people are going to pay attention to you. If you're a hot woman and you go bow hunting, a lot of people are going to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they're not legit. And in her case, she's 100% legit.
Yeah.
It's cool to see.
I know.
It's nice to see it be all real.
No, I know. I told her, she makes these cooking videos. I'm like, God, if you want some views, just do that in a bikini. Do the same thing. It's like, what are you trying to do here? She's like, no, I'm going to do it the right way. So
yeah, well,
I give her a bad time, but I totally respect her.
I do too. Because if I was a girl, I'd be a whore. I would have a fucking glittery bikini on everywhere.
You've been walking around camp in your panties.
100%. I'd be doing my toes at the table with everybody. I'd be a hoe. If I was a girl, camp full of 100 dudes, I'd be like, yeah, what's up, boys?
Time to get some attention. Yeah.
It's hard, for women, because like they want a certain amount of attention, but you got to be careful on how you get it, because then people don't respect you.
I know. And
it's a different
she's done
game.
A good job balancing
she's done a great
that.
job of that.
Yeah.
It's a different game though than with men.
I know.
Men don't have that struggle, the balance struggle of people respecting you but also being attracted to you. It's like for girls, like they even have to be careful with how they dress. You dress a certain way, you look great. A certain way, you look hot. A little more over the edge, now you're a whore.
I know.
It's like there's like a cutoff where
it's a sweet spot.
There's a sweet spot with ladies. It's hard to find that sweet spot, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's fucking a
Tiffany
grind for
killed
them.
a good bull there this year too.
Yeah, she did.
Before we got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a good buck.
Yeah, he's another one. Tiffany and Lee, they're great people.
Yeah.
It's also cool to have met them. I feel just really fortunate to be able to be friends with all these people that I know are these like really world-renowned, experienced hunters. I can learn so much. Like I said, it's like just being friends with you and Dudley, it's cut down my learning curve by decades. The comparison would be like learning basketball from Michael Jordan or something like that. It's like if you wanted to learn, like he's not going to show you how to play basketball. The beautiful thing about hunting is, and one of the coolest things about you guys is everyone's so open about information.
Yeah.
It's not thought of as a competition. So everybody's looking to get, and hunters are so maligned and sort of like misunderstood by society that a lot of people that are hunters are really excited for any new person to get into it.
Yeah.
And look at it correctly.
No, it's huge. It's big. I mean, I used to not tell anybody anything. Even my buddy used to say, he'd give me a bad time because I wouldn't tell anybody where I hunted. I was like so protective. He'd be like, he called me Mac because he's like, you don't even want to go by your real name. It's your name backwards as your code name. And so he'd call me Mac because I was so secretive on everything. So I've been where I'm not helping. Nobody helped me. I'm not helping anyone.
That's funny.
I've been there. So it's like, but it feels good to, like I said, when seeing you successful is everything.
That's an interesting thing with a lot of public land hunters, right? They don't want to tell anybody their spots.
No, because
They
you
don't
work
hide
hard
their
to find
spots.
those.
Yeah.
You work hard to find them, and it's like it can take years. Like especially elk hunting, there's not good elk hunting spots everywhere. I mean, you got to bust your ass to find good elk hunting, and then when you find it, you're like, I'm not going to screw this up, because you tell one person, and nobody just keeps something to themselves. So then they say, well, do you mind if I go there? No, you can go there. Then be like, well, I went there, but then my brother had to come or my buddy had to come. Well, then they couldn't go by themselves. So then next time pretty soon there's, if you have a good spot like in the wilderness, it can be ruined by two other guys.
Yep. They tell two people and so on. And so
it's like, it's really hard. Public land you got to protect it.
I love that show, The Western Hunter, with Nate Simmons.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that he documents on the show all the time is the grind of public land hunting.
Yeah.
He's always running into guys on horseback that run off the animals.
Yeah.
And you deep into the backcountry, still find guys with a wall tent. Like, fuck. Like, it's a grind.
He's a great hunter. He's the very first person to film me in the wilderness.
Oh, wow.
Nate was. It's like he wanted to hunt the wilderness, had never done it. He knew I had done it. Actually, no, maybe it was Shay Mann who filmed first, but then I can't remember, or maybe Nate was first. They were both right around 2002. But Nate, I saw him at the bow rack, and he's like, man, I've always wanted to hunt the wilderness. And I'm like, well, do you want to film me? Yeah, I'd love to. So he didn't know how to run a camera, but his sister was getting married on a Friday. Opening day was Saturday. I said, if you go to the wedding, you drive to the trailhead after the reception. You get to the trailhead at 1 a.m. You walk all night, 12 miles. You can be in there by first light Saturday opening day, and I'll tell you where to go. And it's like on these maps and all this. I thought there's no way this kid's ever going to make it. So this was how many years? 17 years ago. He's not old now. So 17 years ago.
So he's probably like 20 back then.
Early 20s. And I got up opening morning and I went up to the saddle way deep in the wilderness. And I'm like, looking where I told Nate to come from. First light comes and I look over there and here's this guy walking and it's him. And he made it all the way in there, drove all night, packed in all in the dark, made it in there and filmed me. It took day six. Day 6, I killed a buck. He filmed, did a great job. Day 7, I killed a bull. And that was his first ever with a camera. First ever time. And now you see what he's doing on Western Hunter, just amazing work. But
it's one of the best shows that really depicts hunting.
He gets it.
Yes.
He gets it. And he gets the grind, as you said, and the emotion tied to it. And I think his first bull with a bow is when he was 13.
Wow.
And all he's ever done is bow hunt.
Wow.
His whole life. So he's one of the most, I respect him as much as anybody. He's just, and it was just, I saw 17 years ago, he had it then, and he wanted to learn and he wanted to experience it. And then he's went from there to making one of the best shows on TV.
Such a great lesson in that there's the opportunity. It's not easy. You're going to a wedding at 1 a.m. You're going to have to hike in.
Yeah.
And it's a 12-mile hike. It should take you about 5 or 6 hours. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do it, there it is. And a lot of people are like, fuck that.
No, all sorts of excuses not to. Well, I'll come in. I'll be there, that night, Saturday night. No. I said, I need you there opening morning.
That's a giant part of life, is those opportunities, capitalizing on those opportunities. Because a person could easily have blown that off. Go, maybe another time. Maybe I'll hunt with you next year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hunt with you.
Exactly.
And then nothing ever happens, and then you don't get that momentum. Who knows?
And then maybe there's no Western Hunter.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean,
but as a human being, those opportunities, like that's how you build. Mm-hmm. You build on the capitalizing on those opportunities and making it happen, and then you keep going. That's the whole thing. It's like these uncomfortable moments, pushing through them, having discipline and drive, getting it done when you don't want to.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, I know how to do that. I can do that. I can grind through this.
Yeah.
I can get through it. And then that's how you build in life. You just step by step by step, you keep doing it. And that's when that happens. I mean, it's happened to me in my life where I've decided to do something and it was really difficult, but when I got through it, I go, oh, I can do it. I can push through things. I can make things happen. It's such an important lesson. I mean, it's probably one of the most important lessons.
Taking advantage. It did. Did you see he did a show on Roy on like a tribute? Did you ever see that?
I did not see that.
Nate
No.
did.
Is it on the Western Hunter he did it?
It was, yeah.
I did not see that. I'll find it.
Because he went with Wayne to where Roy used to hunt on Kodiak Island for deer. But at the beginning of the show, he filmed one of the coolest things is Roy and I went to the backcountry and hunted brown bear off snow machines, and Roy had a cabin back there, and Nate went back there and filmed it.
Oh, you told me that story. It was crazy and doing backcountry fixes on busted snowmobiles.
Yeah. So Nate was there for that whole thing, and he said he's never felt like he was going to die more times than he did. I mean, it was so much was going, but it's just like a normal backcountry in Alaska. It's like it's different up there than it is here because there's so many, you can die so easily, and down here it's pretty tame, in comparison. But he got it on film, so I have that whole film, and he took clips of that and made a tribute to Roy, and it was pretty special.
That's awesome.
You should look it up.
That's awesome. I will. Cam, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, brother, as always.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm bringing you to the Comedy Store tonight.
I can't
Bring
wait.
you to Comedy Mecca.
I can't wait.
All right. That's it, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Bye. Thank you. Whew.